It's 12:30. It's a Friday. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal. So we are awaiting President Trump's remarks. He is at the draw day for FIFA's World Cup, and he is there live right now, and it looks like he is getting ready to speak. Let's go ahead and just listen in here, see if this is the introduction to the president. We're taking a look here live now on WCNC Plus.
Peace Prize, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J.
And I'll let you know right now, giving the introduction
Trump.
is FIFA President Gianni Infantino. It does appear he just introduced the president.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your Peace Prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
I'm going to wear it right now.
Okay, let me hold. Fantastic. Excellent. And you will receive also, of course, a certificate which reads out, and I would read it out with your permission, what are the reasons for you receiving this FIFA Peace Prize. Football unites the world. So the FIFA Peace Prize is presented annually on behalf of the billions of football-loving people from around the world to a distinguished individual who exemplifies an unwavering commitment to advancing peace and unity throughout the world through their notable leadership and action. And therefore, FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, awards the 2025 FIFA Peace Prize, Football Unites the World, to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in recognition of his exceptional and extraordinary actions to promote peace and unity around the world. Friday, December 5th, 2025. This is the certificate. It's yours. Before giving you the floor, Mr. President, if I may say 2 words. Like everyone here in the room, we see images of war all over the world. And like everyone, we suffer for every child that dies. We cry with every mother that loses someone she loves. And we want to see hope. We want to see unity. We want to see a future. And I was lucky, Mr. President, to witness a few years ago the Abraham Accord signatures. A few months ago in Sharm el-Sheikh, the peace in the Middle East agreement regarding Gaza. I was in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur for the peace between Cambodia and Thailand. Yesterday here in Washington, the Washington peace agreement between Rwanda and the DRC. Well, this is what we want from a leader that cares about the people. We want to live in a safe world, in a safe environment. We want to unite. That's what we do here today. That's what we'll do at the World Cup, Mr. President. And you definitely deserve the first FIFA Peace Prize for your action, for what you have obtained in your way, but you obtained it in an incredible way. And you can always count, Mr. President, on my support, on the support of the entire football community or soccer community to help you make peace and make the world prosper all over the world. Thank you very much, Mr. President. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. This is truly one of the great honors of my life. And beyond awards, Johnny and I were discussing this. We saved millions and millions of lives. The Congo, as an example, over 10 million people killed, and it was heading for another 10 million very quickly. And it just, you know, the fact that we could do that, India, Pakistan, so many different wars that we're able to end, in some cases a little bit before they started, just right before they started. It was going to be late, but we got them done, and it's such an honor to be with Johnny. I've known Johnny for so long. He's done such an incredible job, and I have to tell you, you've set new records on ticket sales, and not to bring that up, because we don't want to bring a thing like that up right now, but it's an awfully nice tribute to you and to the game of football, or as we call it, soccer, but football, and that is an amazing thing. The numbers are beyond any numbers that anybody, even beyond what Johnny thought was possible.
Definitely.
I want to thank, by the way, my family, my great First Lady, Melania. You're right here, and thank you very much. And I think you're going to have an event the likes of which maybe the world has never seen. Based on the enthusiasm that I've seen, I have never seen anything like it. We've had a tremendous relationship, working relationship with Canada. We have our Prime Minister of Canada there, and we have our President of Mexico. And we've worked closely with those two countries, and the coordination and friendship and relationship has been outstanding, and I want to thank you both very much, and your countries very much. But most importantly, I just want to thank everybody. The world is a safer place now. The United States 1 year ago was not doing too well, and now I have to say we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we're going to keep it that way. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a great time. And Johnny, a tremendous honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Thank you so much.
All right, quick remarks from the president at the draw event for FIFA. Very exciting times as we get ready for World Cup 2026 in North America. We're going to take a quick break on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We'll be back. At 12:40 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, people are wanting to know how to celebrate the holidays. If you are in the Rock Hill area, York County, South Carolina, so much going on. One of the events celebrating its 20th year is Christmasville, and we had the CEO, president of Visit York County, in with us earlier today here on Live Impact News. This is what he says families can do and look forward to at this year's Christmasville as Old Town Historic District of Old Town Rock Hill turns into a winter wonderland. There's our previously recorded interview here on WCNC Plus. Well, Christmasville is back in Old Town Rock Hill this weekend, celebrating its 20th anniversary. What a great milestone. This beloved holiday festival transforming the historic district into this magical winter wonderland. Joining us right now is Andy Clinton, the CEO of Visit York County, as well as president there. Talking all things tourism in York County for sure, Andy, but celebrating 20 years. I mean, Christmasville is one of those traditions. What does this milestone mean for Rock Hill and York County?
Yeah, it's huge. And first off, appreciate you guys having me and being here and celebrating Christmasville. Yeah, 20 years. And it's really great to see how this festival has continued to grow and really, the past, 5 years or so. I mean, it's we're over 100 events and it's award winning. And I actually had a meeting in Old Town or downtown Rock Hill yesterday morning, and I was walking with a person. I was like, man, it looks like we're in a Hallmark movie or something. Like, it is really, it looks that small town downtown that is, has the lights and has that holiday feel to it. So it's really cool.
So for folks who have never been, paint us a picture of what people can expect in this transformed wonderland.
Yeah, so I mean, it started yesterday, and it goes through Sunday. Tonight is the parade, so that's a fun one that starts at 6:30. So, but bundle up. We know it's gonna be a little chilly this weekend.
Hey, we
so
want
dress appropriately, right?
Yeah.
But going through Saturday and Sunday, there's over 100 events. So, anything that you're looking for, obviously kid-friendly throughout the day. And then even in the evening, they've added some elements as far as for adults, whether it's, rolling cigars or cocktails or line dancing, things like that, which is really fun. So it's really something for everybody. And parking is free, so you got that checked off, right?
That's great.
All the inflatables, all the kid, elements to it, it's free. Sponsors help pay for that. So it's really one of those things where you can have a fun time and it doesn't cost you that much. We want you guys to spend your money when you come down, spend it with our local businesses. You know, we have a lot of our restaurants open, doing some fun things. It's called the Taste of Christmasville, where it's a passport, and all these different restaurants, they have items where I think if you make it to 4 of the restaurants, you get a t-shirt. So very cool things like that. I'm just giving you a small glimpse of it. Like I said,
so
over 100, but hopefully, there's a lot to do. It's a really fun festival.
Fantastic. It looks like it's from another time, right? So there's artwork, related to it. Vernon Grant. If people are not familiar with this artist, explain the history of Vernon Grant, because he is somewhat famous, and there is a tie to the Christmasville theme.
Yes, he's famous nationally, very famous in our town and our community. Vernon Grant was one that he was more born and raised some West Coast, but then after World War II, he did move to Rock Hill, and it was his home, and he's kind of considered Rock Hill's adopted son. So, but his main claim to fame is Kellogg's Snap Crackle Pop. So if you go to the grocery store and pick up that box of cereal, that is him. That artwork is him. It's really cool to see a lot of his designs. We have another festival in the spring, Come See Me, that is it's frog related. So, but he has a lot of illustrations of frogs, but he has a lot of illustrations of Christmas related. So that's how this festival kind of came to be, is like celebrating all of his illustrations and characters around Christmas.
Yeah, that sounds so fun. It's like a little fantasy world. And this really, really draws people locally as well as from other parts of the region. What kind of economic impact are you looking at for York County or Rock Hill specifically?
Yeah, no, it's huge. And as you know, it's almost some of these festivals, especially over the past few years, they gain momentum, and we've gotten awards, and you slowly start to see where, you know, a once more localized festival, and we always want it to have that local type feel, but you are starting to see, you know, people from Charlotte and then Columbia, Spartanburg, Greenville, Raleigh, they're all, you know, flocking to this festival, and we're now, you know, we're in the thousands as far as people coming and experiencing what we have to offer, which is great.
I mean, it's one of those standouts from other festivals in the Carolinas. If you just want to take a trip to Rock Hill, it's really just up the street or down the street, depending on where you are. You know, Andy, it took, 20 minutes to get to Charlotte from the
That's
area.
right.
So for families planning to attend, first time or 20th time, what advice do you give? Because I would anticipate there's some traffic, there's going to be, like you said, some free parking, but what else do families need to know?
Yeah, I mean, first, I got to plug our website. So visityorkcounty.com. We do have a blog on how to experience Christmasville. So I can tell you a little bit, but that is the way to go. And our social media channels, Christmasville Rock Hill, they have a website as well. They have their social media channels. So that is definitely a place to start. You know, as well as, you know, I think that we're doing good as far as weather and rain and some of that, but it's definitely updates if there's delays on anything. That is where you can find that information. But yeah, the main thing from a weather standpoint, it's going to be a little chilly, right? So dress appropriately. I mean, a lot of these are it's outdoors, but it's really it's a fun time. Bring your kids, bring your family, bring your friends. Just depending on what you're looking for. Obviously, I have a 3 and a 5-year-old, so I'm looking at that, you know, like 2 to 5 o'clock window. Oh my gosh, I mean, like I said, inflatables, the Grinches out there, Santa's out there, the gnomes, you got the Coca-Cola polar bear. I mean, it's a fun time. It's gonna be snowing. It's gonna be snowing on Main Street.
Snowing out there in Rock Hill. Looking at these images from previous years of Christmasville, it just looks like it's a wonderful time if you want to get into that holiday spirit. Yeah,
it's a blast.
All right, Andy. Anything else we need to know?
I think we covered it. Like I said, just make sure you follow us on social media. Visit York County. Follow Christmasville. That's where you can really find all the events. Like you said, we're just getting a very small glimpse of it, but it really does cover, you know, whatever you're trying to accomplish as far as a holiday festival. They have it. So just do your research there.
All right. It started yesterday. It's going to go through this Sunday. And bundle up, like Andy said, and enjoy yourselves. Have a great time. Be kind. It's Christmas after all, in Christmasville in Rock Hill. Andy Clinton from Visit York County, we thank you for coming up here to Charlotte and letting us know of this wonderful time that's going to be had in York County. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we are back here live now in the Live Impact Studio on WCNC Plus at 12:48. Want to get you back out to this FIFA event that is happening live. Is this the draw, Jeb, that's happening right now? So this is the draw, the actual draw for World Cup 2026 as we check in live now on Live Impact News.
Presidenta Sheinbaum, la Copa Mundial de la FIFA 2026 será el evento deportivo más grande de la historia y México hará historia al convertirse en el único país en albergar 3 ediciones del torneo. ¿Qué significado tiene esto para las y los mexicanos?
Bueno, estamos orgullosos, orgullosas de recibir por tercera vez la Copa Mundial. México es un país extraordinario, bello, mágico, y millones visitarán nuestra nación. Además, quiero decirles que tenemos un pueblo extraordinario, trabajador y algo especial. Nosotros disfrutamos del juego de pelota desde tiempos ancestrales.
Fenomenal. Gracias. Mr. President, President Trump, next summer is historic for the United States in more than one way. What does it mean to you that the FIFA World Cup is actually taking place in the United States 250th birthday. Special.
Well, for years, Johnny, they've thought soccer or football would be so big, so fast. And I remember, I shouldn't say this because it was a long time ago, but I remember watching Pelé play on a team called the Cosmos. Pelé, who was fantastic, as you know, I assume one of the greats.
Oh, yes.
And,
Pelé. Let's applaud Pelé, please. One of the greatest.
And he scored 3 goals that day. I said, that man can play. I was pretty young at that point, and who knew this was going to happen? But when you look at what has happened to football in the United States, is again soccer in the United States. We seem to never call it that because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football. But when you think about it, shouldn't it really be called? I mean, this is football. There's no question about it. We have to come up with another name for this.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. It is really football. But who would have thought it would have come to a level where you've set your all-time season ticket ratings? Nobody's ever sold as many tickets, and you're still a long way from that ball being kicked down the field. So I just want to congratulate you. What an incredible leap this has been, and congratulations to FIFA.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Big round of applause, and the best is still to come, of course. So let's start with the draw. I will just show you how it works. I've done a few of them. Don't be scared, right? So you have to basically mingle the balls a little bit. You can see, I show this for the public, you see. Mingle. And then, one by one, we start with Mr. Carney. You pick one. Wait. You open it. You see there is a little paper inside. You take out the paper, these 2 things, you can throw them in here, and then you can show to the public what you have drawn, which for me is FIFA, of course. I'm just the moderator. Mr. Carney, do you want to start?
I'm ready.
Don't forget, and pick the right ball, please. Already chosen. Okay, let's see which team will be drawn by Mr. Mark Carney. Canada! Oh, congratulations. Canada, ladies and gentlemen, the first team drawn in this World Cup. Group B1 for Canada, by the way. We can continue. Por favor, podemos seguir, Presidenta. Vamos a ver el sorteo más importante del mundo. Y vamos a ver cuál es el equipo.
¡Viva México!
¡México! ¡Felicidades! México, Grupo A1, Presidenta. Grupo A1 por México. Muchas felicidades. President Trump, up to you. Don't forget to mingle, to mix.
I think I know what this is going to be now.
Everything.
But let's see.
Are you sure? Are you sure this is the ball? You can still change it if you want.
Does he know something that I don't know? Let's give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I agree. Okay.
This is shocking.
United States of America. Excellent. Group D1. Can I ask all the 3 of you to lift like this on your chest, in front of your chest like this? Yeah, the name of the country. We'll give a nice photo. Excellent. And if I can ask you to come in front here for another photo with the paper, con el papelito, por favor. There, here where you can see the, voila, here for another photo so that everyone can see what you have drawn. Here we are. Thank you very much. Well done. Congratulations. Great assistance. If I may take a selfie with the 3 of you. Come. Thank you very much. Let's go.
just 6 months' time, millions of fans from every corner
All
of
right,
the
you're watching live the FIFA World Cup draw, and every president drawing their own country. We'll be right back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We're streaming on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal at 12:57. Earlier today, it's been made official. CMPD Chief Estella Patterson is now the police chief of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department after being sworn in earlier this morning. We'll play this ceremony for you now as there are several guest speakers for you. So if you missed it this morning, here it is for you on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Not only is Chief Patterson our first female chief of police for CMPD, she is also returning home. Chief Patterson served with CMPD from 1996 to 2021 when she was selected to lead as chief of police in Raleigh, North Carolina. Marks her return. And together, we are here to celebrate this transition of leadership, the continuity, and Chief Patterson's renewed commitment to this agency and this city. And I want to personally thank all of you for being here with us today to celebrate this historic moment. I want to take a moment and recognize some of today's distinguished guests. We are honored to have with us today North Carolina Governor Josh Stein, City of Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, Mr. Marcus Jones, numerous members of Charlotte City Council with us today, members of our Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Foundation, chiefs and agency heads from our public safety partners, community leaders, nonprofit partners, clergy leaders, and numerous friends. And of course, Chief Patterson's family, mentors, and supporters. Mayor Vi Lyles has been serving as mayor for the city of Charlotte since 2017. Throughout her tenure, she has been an unwavering advocate for CMPD, as well as all programs and partnerships that assist with public safety. It is my honor to invite Mayor Lyles to the podium to provide her welcoming remarks.
and all of you taking good care of Stella for so long for us that, you know, she's helping out. So welcome, everyone. I want to recognize that there's so many special guests and community leaders joining us today, and it's because of what we're doing today. I want to thank Governor Josh Stein for being here with us on this important day for Team Charlotte. Today marks an exciting moment for our city as Stella Patterson is sworn in as our new Chief of Police. We're so glad to have her back home. We're so glad to have her in Charlotte, and we're so glad to have her leadership here today. I know I want to say a little bit more though. When Estella retired from Raleigh, she made it a point to say that she wanted to spend more time with her family. So I'd like to take a few moments to extend a special thank you to her family, for her loved ones who are here this morning. I want to say thank you for sharing, and I'd like you to stand up and be seen by this audience who is recording and supporting us. So, it's Stella. You know, we all know that this is a really tough job. If you don't know that, it is a really tough job. And to be able to do this job requires that you have to have family and people surrounding you that love and take care of you. Now that can be the CMPD family, but more importantly, it's Stella's family. So I want to say again, thank you for sharing her with us. You know, I'm really looking forward to the work that we're going to do under her leadership with the men and women of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, with our entire city leadership team. Together, we know, with Stella on board, that we will build a safer, stronger, and greater Charlotte for all of our residents. We're grateful to have our new police chief. Thank you, Stella, and welcome home.
Been a steadfast supporter of CMPD, championing innovation, operational excellence, and community-centered policing. His support to public safety has shaped our department's growth and progress for a decade. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jones to the podium.
Okay, Raleigh, this is going to be a long time for you, okay? So I'm following the mayor's lead, but before you leave, can you spend some money? No sales tax. So, good morning, and thank you for everyone who's attending today. I just looked out over the crowd, and this is really amazing. It talks a lot about the collaboration in the city. There are folks from the philanthropic community, the business community, the county, the city. So it's really, really a special time here in Charlotte. So thank you for those who came outside of our community. Thank you so much, Governor, for being here today. When I announced the job for Stella would be the new police chief, I got a lot of accolades. It was, thank you, great job. It was amazing. That's really rare for a city manager. Okay? Chief Patterson, thank you so much. But it was universal acclaim. And I believe the credit goes to Chief Patterson and the people in her life, and the impact that she's had on them, and the impact that they've had on her. As the city manager, one of the most significant appointments that I have is a police chief. It's a tough job, it's an important job. And public safety is one of the most important things that the city does, if not the most important. But public safety is also one of the most challenging jobs that we have in the city. And I really want to take this moment to thank everybody who's a part of public safety, keeping our community safe. You guys just do excellent. this is the last time I'll mess with you. So, what we do know in this community is CMPD is one of the best, if not the best, law enforcement organization in the country. I've had the ability to have 2 searches for a police chief. The first one was Chief Jennings. And Chief Jennings, we did that in COVID. So I think there were like 10 people in the room that day, okay? And we had a home run with Chief Jennings. The second search was the current search. And I will tell you that so many people from across the country apply for this job. From big cities, from cities that you hear a lot about in the news, good, bad, and different. But what was amazing about Chief Patterson is she beat everybody. She kicked somebody. When I see members of my team here, I see members of the City Council here, we have your back. We're going to support you. There's a lot of things that we have to continue to do. This is a big task, but we're ready for it. And Chief Patterson, we're ready to get to work with you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right. At this time, I would like to invite Chief Patterson's husband, Charlotte Fire Department retired Battalion Chief Lance Patterson, to the stage for the pinning of the badge. The pinning of the badge is a ceremonial act steeped in tradition. The badge itself symbolizes an officer's acceptance of the responsibility to serve and protect, and it is to be earned and respected. It is a symbol of the public's trust in us. The pinning of the badge by a close family member or friend while in the presence of our agency members and community is a public promise to uphold the standards of the oath of office and an affirmation of our commitment to the community which we serve. Having the people you cherish the most in your life officially place that badge on your chest signifies the importance of family support required to do this job. And it honors our family's sacrifices as well. And for that reason, Battalion Chief Patterson, you may begin. We are very honored to have the Honorable Judge Carla Archie with us today to administer the oath of office. At this time, I would also like to invite Chief Patterson's niece, Ms. Jalen Holder, to the stage.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right, and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as Chief of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. So help me God. Congratulations.
Back now here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus at 1:10. We will get you to the remarks made by the new police chief, Estella Patterson, in just a moment. First, let's take a break here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. At 1:12 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, I'm Jane Monreal. Things are drying out after a wet, chilly start. Our Larry Sprinkle in on the midday, giving this report on your weather impact alert day. We'll see where we stand now. Here's his report on WCNC Plus.
Good Friday afternoon. Gray skies, chilly temperatures. We take a view from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's the weather picture locally. Gray skies, maybe a little drizzle, mist out there, chilly temperatures. Even in the mountains, they didn't get that winter wonderland. In fact, it was so dry up there, they get barely any snow at all. But you can see the situation up in Blowing Rock. Clouds and fog, a little bit of drizzle up there. The radar indicates some of the heavier precipitation definitely has moved east and southeast of the Charlotte metro area. We may see once again a little bit of drizzle here. Some of the highest elevations of the mountains may see a mix of some rain and a couple snowflakes and no accumulation. So the winter weather situation really is not locally. Everything once again rainfall wise off the Carolina coastline towards the Outer Banks all the way down to the Grand Strand around the Charleston area, and that's basically where it's going to be as we head right into the afternoon. As far as rainfall totals, not expecting much at all, maybe a 1/10 of an inch east and southeast. If your futurecast indicates once again precipitation, that's all rain east and southeast. Our temperatures stay in the upper 30s and low 40s for the afternoon, so no freezing precipitation. Tomorrow, dry weather, more of the same as we head into Sunday. We'll say that a couple of computer models indicating late Sunday, early Monday, maybe some precipitation. We're going to go with, at the moment, just clouds and some chilly temperatures. For today, we should be in the upper 50s, not much above the low 40s as we head right into the afternoon. This evening, all the way from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Until early tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. temperatures in the upper 30s with mainly cloudy skies out there. For Statesville and Hickory all the way to Morganton, cloudy skies and some chilly temperatures for the most part staying in the upper 30s all the way through this evening. For the Boone Blowing Rock area, it's going to be a situation with clouds out there, maybe a little precipitation in the form of some drizzle, but notice the temperatures stay above the freezing mark even around midnight tonight in the high country, right around 33 degrees at that time. So the cold air is in place, and unfortunately for the folks who are looking for any snow, the only snow in the mountains is up there that's man-made snow, where they're getting that at the moment. So if you got travel plans headed maybe up toward the high country, they're skiing up there, but nothing as far as Mother Nature's snow. In fact, we take a view and show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is our camera from up in the North Carolina high country. It's cloudy, it's foggy, and yeah, conditions for skiing, they're okay up there. Thanks a lot, Chris, for showing us that, our director, Chris. Let's go ahead and check that 7-day forecast from Jerry Hunt. Low 40s today, tomorrow. Magical Toy Drive Day. Remember, we'll be there starting at 8:30 tomorrow morning over at Belk, right there at Carolina Place Mall in Pineville. The Magical Toy Drive. Bring a new unwrapped toy for a kid from infancy all the way up to about 12 years old, and we're going to take those and give those to the Salvation Army as part of a Magical Toy Drive. 47 tomorrow. Sunday afternoon, we're 49 degrees. It'll still be kind of cloudy. Some very chilly temperatures Monday and Tuesday of next week. We're back only into the mid-40s for high temperatures. And looking ahead again to the middle of next week, we do see a rebound. We should be in the upper 50s, but notice as we go Wednesday morning down to about 32, high temperature close to 54 degrees. And Thursday, really more of the same. We start the day about 40, and we do see a rebound getting almost close to normal next Thursday as we get to the end of next week. Look for high temperature around 56 degrees. So all in all, it's going to be kind of a chilly weekend with temperatures staying in the 40s both Friday, today, Saturday, and again on Sunday. That is your forecast. I'm Larry Sprinkle. Have a nice day and a great weekend.
A good handful, folks, taking advantage there of the fresh powder, lucky snowboarders and skiers. We're going to take a break here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Time is 1:19 on a Friday. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal until about 3 o'clock. I'll be hanging with you. Earlier this week, our James Brierton, he is an extraordinary producer and digital content maker, as well as all-knowing technical weather, trains, planes. I don't know if the automobiles work, but anyway, he did talk to a meteorologist talking about the hazards in your home due to this wintry weather and what we can do and just some of the things you need to look out for. His interview with IBHS earlier this week. If you missed it, some good information here. We'll play it for you now on WCNC Plus.
The cold weather season is upon us, and that means trying to keep the temperature up in your home while keeping your power bill down. And the Carolinas is home to the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. And with their lab right here in South Carolina, scientists stress test full-size homes up against the power of Mother Nature. Joining us now is meteorologist Rachel Gauthier, who's going to help us stay warm without paying too much this winter. Rachel, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So the cold weather, it is here. It has come on quite suddenly, and I know my heat is on at home. So what are some of the things people can do to protect their homes and their assets this time of year from the seasonal hazards?
Yeah, well, lots of different things, lots of different components of the home. I would say start with the roof. If you're familiar with our research at IBHS, we do a ton of research on the roof, different roofing materials, how to strengthen your roof against the various elements. So we say the roof is the home's first line of defense. So
all right, we're going to put a pin in that conversation between James and Rachel, but because we want to bring you a live feed right now. This is U.S. Senator Adam Schiff of California unveiling a proposal to talk about a new housing project across the U.S., but this is in San Francisco. Let's listen in here live on Live Impact News on WCNC+.
More of this for our city. I am thrilled to welcome Senator Adam Schiff here today. Thank you for representing California and for your commitment to building affordable housing here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And of course, I'd like to recognize the namesake for the building, former District 10 Supervisor Sophie Maxwell. I'd also like to, I know Rudy Gonzalez is here from the building trades. Rudy, thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Now, here in San Francisco, we know that we have an affordability crisis. We need to build more housing for our workers and our families so that they can stay in the city that they call home. This is exactly what the Housing Boom Act will do. This act focuses on building affordable housing for families and workers, increasing funding for programs that support our most vulnerable residents, and revitalizing underused spaces for housing and for critical services. The investment that the Housing Boom Act would bring to San Francisco are invaluable, and I'm proud to support Senator Schiff's initiative to improve housing and development in San Francisco and across California. I've spoken with Senator Schiff, and I know he will work with our labor partners closely to strengthen this bill as it begins to move through the legislative process. In San Francisco, we are doing our part. This week, I am proud to say the Board of Supervisors passed our family zoning plan. This plan updates our zoning map so that we can plan for more housing for our teachers, first responders, and most importantly, the next generation of San Franciscans. Everyone behind me today understands the moment that we are in. This is a major step forward. We know we have to act, and there is still more work to be done. I want to thank Senator Schiff, and I want to send my best regards to Congresswoman Simon for introducing this legislation and ensuring that federal support continues to help strengthen San Francisco and our California residents. We are proud to have you, Senator, and our great Congresswoman representing California, and we look forward to your continued partnership and success. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Senator of California, Adam Schiff.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you for your extraordinary leadership of the city. When the mayor and I got together about a year ago, I said I was looking forward to the day when I would read a headline here in San Francisco that San Francisco is back, and you are making that happen. And being here and seeing this magnificent building, and Sophie, congratulations on what you got started, and Enrique, your fabulous work here is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be building a lot more housing all throughout California, housing that is affordable, housing that meets the needs of families up and down the state of California, indeed all over the country, working families, middle-income housing, low-income housing. We need it all. Right now, all that pencils out in too many parts of California is luxury housing, and that is not enough. We need another housing boom in America. In the same way that after World War II, we built millions of new homes for returning GIs at an affordable price, we need to do that again, and we can. There's nothing preventing us from making the same kind of massive investment in building new homes, millions of new homes throughout the country every year. Hundreds of thousands of new homes are necessary in California. And so we need to put this at the top of the priority list. Everyone is focused on affordability, and we should be. The affordability of healthcare, the affordability of energy, but central to this is the affordability of housing. When I was a kid, my father was in the clothing business. He was essentially a traveling salesman. He made $18,000 a year. On the strength of that single income of $18,000, my parents bought our first home for $18,000. You could buy a home for the annual income of a clothing salesman. Imagine what that would buy you today. And you get a scope of the problem. Or looked at another way, when I was born, the average age of a home buyer was 23 years old. 23. Today it is 40 years old. And this is one of the preeminent challenges we have, and that is the economy is simply not working for millions of people. And unlike during the Great Recession or the Great Depression, the problem today is not that people are unemployed. Unemployment is still relatively low, although it is creeping upwards. The problem today is that people are working, and they still can't afford to get by. They still can't afford a place to live. So many families are rent burdened or housing burdened or mortgage burdened in the state of California. More than 30% of our residents spend more than 30% of their income on housing. And there's no way to solve that problem unless we're building a lot more housing. I'm very proud to be introducing the Housing Boom Act. This is legislation that would make a massive new investment in building affordable homes for middle income and lower income families, to make it possible for young people to own a home or be able to pay their rent. It would make the largest expansion of the low-income housing tax credit ever. It would triple the size of the low-income housing tax credit. But also importantly, it would invest a substantial amount in building workforce housing, just like this, middle-income housing for the people who build the housing. And thank you for the presence of labor and all the work that our building construction trades do to make housing like this possible. We want our police officers, our firefighters, our teachers, our construction workers, and more to be able to live in the communities they serve. And so this bill will massively increase the federal incentives to build housing that people can afford. It'll provide new revenue sources, new means of making it possible. As Enrique will tell you, they had to explore all kinds of different creative ways to make this happen. It was a difficult, cumbersome process. Thank God they persevered. But it shouldn't be that hard. And it can't be that hard if we're going to meet the demand of people in California and all over the country. So this Housing Boom Act is a powerful statement. I hope and believe that we need not incremental change here. We need massive investment in new housing. We need another housing boom in America. And with that, it's my pleasure to invite Enrique Landa, the managing partner at Fifth Space, to talk about this magnificent work that he's done and what's necessary to do it elsewhere. I'm very grateful for Congresswoman Lateefah Simon, who was not able to join us this morning, but I'll be seeing later this afternoon for her partnership on this legislation. And Enrique, let me turn over to you.
Thank you, Senator. I will be brief, but the result of what happened here, that we're sitting on a building that is the first privately financed workforce housing project that has been built in the city in a very long time, is because of a tool that got put out in 2008 during the Great Recession, and the Obama administration put out a rule to be able to use municipal debt to be able to be recycled to build buildings like this. It took 17 years to use that tool. This building is the result of the first time it's been used in California, and now other states are doing it, and it's being used now in Southern California. And it was a very hard process. It took us 5 banks, 6 law firms, 3 consulting firms, a nonprofit, you name it. But it was the willingness to prove that we need to build housing for everybody to get cities to work. And if we take the kind of effort that Senator is doing today to put new tools in developers' hands, who knows when it'll happen, but if we keep pushing, these things will become more real. Today, living in this building is the manager of a restaurant that's been here for 30 years, who's commuted 90 minutes a day for the past 15 years, and now she has a home right in the neighborhood. There's somebody else who is in supportive housing in and out and has a job, makes $55,000 a year, just moved in, and they work right there. So these are the kinds of things that we are going to need to do to be able to keep this moving. We need new tools to be able to do it. I appreciate the senator's push for this. Housing and affordability is now a nationwide issue. It's not just a coastal issue, and I'm glad that we're pushing ahead. Now I want to introduce Sophie Maxwell, who had the vision to help close this power plant and bring something much better of a use that went from power plant to housing in 15 years.
Well, folks, you heard it here first in San Francisco. A new California housing boom. What could be better than that? What could be better than that? This is what we need to build cities. Why are our schools struggling? Because there's no kids in them. We need people in our cities. We need every kind of people in our cities. My mother and grandmother bought a house. My grandmother was a laundry worker. My mother was a housekeeper. They bought 2 flats. And they said they bought the flats because they needed help paying the mortgage. But they bought it. They did it. They invested in San Francisco, and now I will forever be in the annals of our city. From those 2 people, those women, that's what cities are about. That's what this boom is about. It's about making our people work. I was looking at the news, and I was going by, and people were so excited because they were building a new enclosure for these bears. And we'll call the bears Muhammad and Ali. And they were building this housing unit, and they were so excited, and they talked about what did they want the bears to feel like when they walked into this enclosure? What did they want them to see? And so they built this big tower so the bears could climb up and preview all that was around them. And then they built little cubbies because bears like that. And they said, and in a couple weeks we'll be back so you can see the bears coming in to their new homes. Well, that's what we want. We want to build for people so when they come in, they feel a sense of home. They feel warmth. And I want to call it affordable luxury because it should be beautiful. People who come home from work, they need a beautiful surrounding. Their kids need to come home to a warm, spacious, good place. And we can do it. And we will do it. So I want to thank the senator. And I want to thank Representative Lateefah Simon for their work because this is going to happen. And we're all going to get behind it. Thank you. And you heard it first here in San Francisco.
We'd be happy to respond to any of your questions. Mayor, it can't be that shy crowd here in San Francisco.
Do you have
Yes.
any buy-in across the aisle on this legislation?
The question, do we have any buy-in across the aisle? Not yet. I certainly hope that we will get bipartisan support for a massive investment in new housing like this bill. But what it will come down to, frankly, is whether Republicans are serious about building new housing, whether they're serious about bringing down the cost of housing. If they're not, then they won't have much interest. But I think as we have seen in the healthcare debate, that as Democrats have pushed bringing down the cost of healthcare, Republicans have found it necessary to respond. And I hope that this bill will prompt my Republican friends to understand that the affordability problem that is confronting families confronts them first and foremost right where they live. And there's no dealing with the high cost of living. There's no meeting the promises the president made during his campaign unless we're building a lot more housing. I was fascinated to see during the meeting that the mayor of New York had with the president that they seemed to agree at least on one thing, and that was the need to build a lot more housing. So there should be some room for bipartisan work on this. If it's going to be successful, there just has to be.
Do you think that President Trump calling affordability a con kind of spooks other Republicans from jumping on board?
Well, first of all, the president downplaying the seriousness of the affordability crisis or calling it a con or his other derogatory remarks about the struggles people are facing just shows how out of touch he is with what regular families are confronting. Will that influence Republicans? Actually, no, I don't think so. What will influence Republicans is the degree to which they just got obliterated during the elections we had 3 weeks ago on this very issue. If Republicans don't get serious about working with Democrats on bringing down the cost of living, they're going to see more elections like the one we just had. So I don't think the president's obliviousness is going to impact the people I serve. I think they understand the problem. Now, whether they're going to be willing to do what's necessary to fix it, that's a big question. I haven't seen that yet.
How many units are in this building, and what's like the cap income for families or an individual to move in?
Sure, let me hand that to Enrique.
It's 105 units, and it's for families making between 50 and 110% of the average median income. So it's for between 55,000 and roughly 113,000. These are not easy to build. It's one of the few buildings that have been entirely done.
And along those lines, to help create more buildings like this in the Housing Boom Act, we've devoted a total of $15 billion to loans and grants to make housing like this possible. So this is exactly the kind of housing that we want to prioritize. We want to provide a new funding stream. It's still going to be necessary, I'm sure, to use all of the other creative measures that Enrique and his team did to make this possible, and the mayor. But hopefully this will provide new tools to build exactly this kind of housing and new homes.
Mayor Little, why are you against the redevelopment project at the Safeway Marina location?
Listen, that project, we've been in talks with the developer. It is one of the reasons we passed the family zoning plan was to make sure that we build along transit corridors and making sure to take care of our neighborhoods as well. And that's just a developer playing a game. Because that won't be possible once our family zoning plan goes into practice. We'll work with anybody to do the right kind of building, and that one is just not in line with what we're doing here in San Francisco.
Any other questions?
All right. Senator, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'll let you close it out.
Mayor, thank you very much for all your leadership on housing, and I know how challenging it is to move the ball here, but you really have, and I'm so grateful. I think we all are. And Sophie, what a magnificent legacy you have built. How wonderful to be literally standing on something you made possible. And to see what was here before, and I love how the smokestack remains as a reminder of the past, but truly an extraordinary accomplishment. Thank you, and Enrique, thank you and your whole team for what you do every day, and look forward to seeing the progress continue. Thanks, everyone.
All right, as they wrap things up there out of San Francisco, we're going to take a break on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We'll be right back. Back now at 1:41 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. So a little while ago, we started playing the ceremony for the swearing in of the new police chief at CMPD, Estella Patterson. She is about to make remarks. She was just sworn in officially. Her remarks here now as we pick things up on WCNC Plus.
Introduction, and I thank her for serving as the mistress of ceremonies for this great occasion. She has been an amazing friend to me for over 20 years and sister in blue, and I'm so deeply honored to share this stage with her. To everyone joining us today in person and those who are streaming this ceremony, I say good morning, and I say thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me as I embark on this incredible assignment as Chief of Police for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Words cannot adequately express my gratitude and the immense joy that is within me to serve in this role. If I may, I'd like to make a few acknowledgments. First and foremost, I give honor and glory to my Lord and Savior, my steps and is directing my path forward. Without apology, it is Him, in Him, in which I live and move and have my being. And I'm not here to preach because we already have a preacher in the house. But I just want to say, Lord, I thank you. I also acknowledge and say thank you to the esteemed leaders on this stage in the persons of our Governor, Josh Stein, our Mayor, Val Lyles, the Honorable Carl Archie, and our City Manager, Marcus Jones. Also, too, I say thank you to all the members of our City Council and also the many elected officials and appointed officials in the audience. I also acknowledge the person who has led this police department with distinction and professionalism for the past 5 years. Chief, I thank you for your dedicated service and your willingness to pass the baton to me. You have been a friend, you have been a mentor, and you have been an example to me. In fact, I watched you and I modeled you when I became the chief in Raleigh. And subsequently, we had a lot of successes. I salute you and I thank you for your service to CMPD. I also like to acknowledge my husband of 28 years, Lance Bass. Lance, I love you, and I thank you for being my biggest critic and my #1 cheerleader. I honor you. Go Cowboys. Mr. Manager, did you hear that? I also acknowledge my mother, who is here today and is always with me and always nervous with these kinds of occasions, despite me telling her that everything is going to be okay. I guess you never grow up to your parents. And so to Mom, I love you and I'm grateful for you. To my aunt and uncle who traveled from Florida to be here, I say thank you for making that trip and for your support. Also to my favorite niece in Charlotte, Jayla. I just want to say I love you and thank you for being here. I cannot move forward without acknowledging also my Raleigh family, who showed up in mass today despite the weather. I think you had bad weather in Raleigh, but y'all came out anyway. It means so much to me, and so I take a point of personal privilege to send a special shout out to all of my Raleigheites, all my Raleigh friends. I see our chief here. Walton here, my deputy chiefs are here, my former deputy chiefs, I should say, are here. My records crew is here, my biggest supporters. Thank you, thank you, thank you all, Raleigh, for being here. Also, I'd like to acknowledge my church family. Ark Ministries is here. Mass to support me, and I thank God for you and for your prayers. You have kept me covered in prayers, and I thank you for that. And last but not least, I'd like to acknowledge CMPD's HR Director, Tammy Pippin, and her HR team, as well as Major Sanders and the Academy staff for planning and coordinating today's ceremony. This is more than I could ever imagine. I thank you for your professionalism, your precision, and your perfection. Thank you so much. As I reflected on what I would say this morning, I was taken back to my decision to become a police officer, and specifically a CMPD officer. As a young college student, policing was not a career field I thought I would pursue. I have shared with some that I became interested in this field as an undergraduate student at UNCC. I was in my last year of college and I needed some extra classes to graduate, and someone suggested that I take some CJ classes and say they were easy. And so I did. And to my surprise, I absolutely loved it. I loved what I was learning. And what I was learning from those classes interested me so greatly that I knew that policing would be a field that would be a natural fit for me. One, because I love serving and I love being there for others, but I also love problem solving, and policing offers both of that. So in my senior year, I attended a job fair, and CMPD recruiters were there. They were present and they looked sharp. That is what caught my eyes. I was instantly drawn to this police department because of that. It was something about CMPD that stood out among all other agencies in the nation. As I learned more about this police department, I learned of the department's standard of excellence and its high level of integrity. I learned of its commitment to serving the community passionately and compassionately, its intentionality in being inclusive, and its investments in the well-being of its employees. All of these qualities were attractive to me, and I made the decision that CMPD is where I wanted to be and the badge I wanted to wear. And now that I have the honor of serving at the helm of this outstanding police department, I will seek to uphold everything that makes CMPD great. And I will continue elevating this department into its next chapter. The many qualities that led me to CMPD nearly 30 years ago have drawn me back to serve as Chief of Police. As I oversee this department, I vow to make sure that we continue to embrace a standard of service excellence, working closely with other law enforcement partners and investing in technology that makes us work smarter to meet the crime challenges that plague our city. I vow to lead with integrity. Integrity is our mantra. My leaders and I will lead with the highest level of integrity, beginning with my office and extending to every level of the organization. Employees will be celebrated for walking in integrity, and they will be held accountable for actions that bring the department or this city into disrepute. We will continue serving the community with passion and compassion, building relationships with all communities within this community. We will also be intentional about ensuring that this department continues to be reflective of the city of Charlotte and this community in every way. We will make sure that the well-being of our employees is the top priority, for I often say when our employees are whole, then they can serve the whole community. Truly, it is an honor to be invited back to serve Charlotte and this police department. 5 days in and some 30 meetings or so later, my goodness, I can say very clearly, and I can see very clearly, that the journey will not be easy and it will not be quick. Nonetheless, I stand committed, I stand resolute, and I am prepared for such a time as this to wear this badge proudly and to serve this community with distinction. Thank you again for your support of me, and most importantly, for your support of the men and women, the heroes who serve this community. Thank you, and God bless you.
At 1:52, while we regroup and reposition ourselves during that applause, by the way, this is previously recorded, we will get back to that swearing-in ceremony and remarks from the new police chief for CMPD, Estella Patterson. We're going to take a break here on Live Impact News on WCNC+. At 1:54, back here on Live Impact News on WCNC+, we are getting through the previously recorded swearing-in ceremony for CMPD Chief Estella Patterson. Next to make remarks is North Carolina Governor Josh Stein.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Deputy Chief Halsey, thanks for that introduction. Thank you for being the MC today. What an honor to be able to participate in the swearing-in ceremony of Stella Patterson as the new police chief of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Now, I will say, I'm 30 years a Raleigh boy. So when she told me that she was retiring from police chief in Raleigh, I was very disappointed because I was like, we're losing this fantastic police leader. But I think that this is something that I can accept as the governor of North Carolina. And she came back to Charlotte, North Carolina. And this is a special homecoming. Because as we all know, she is of this police department. She started in this police department. Back in 1996, she was a member of the 123rd recruit class. And I don't know if y'all know it, but she was the president of that recruit class. Her classmates always described her as always out front, motivating others. That is the style of leadership that she embodies to this day. She spent her first 9 years as a patrol officer here, ultimately rising through the ranks to be the deputy chief of police over patrol operations. She did have this hiatus of 4 years in Raleigh, where she was police chief, but I gotta tell you, those 4 years were incredibly impactful to our capital city. She prioritized reducing violent crime, maximizing community engagement, and enhancing employee morale. During her tenure, she cut the number of vacancies in the Raleigh Police Department by 75%. Folks in this room understand what a challenge it is. There are so many vacancies in law enforcement agencies across the state, honestly across the country. So she really achieved an impressive feat. When I was Attorney General, and she was police chief in Raleigh, we partnered to eliminate the backlog of what had been the largest backlog of untested rape kits in this country. She then worked to move those cold case investigations forward, solving crimes, putting dangerous people behind bars, and most importantly, delivering justice to survivors. She will bring that same dedication and vision that she had in Raleigh back to you all here in Charlotte. She had fully retired. She said, I'm taking a break. I fully retired. But when Charlotte called, she answered. Because the work of law enforcement is indeed a special calling. Officers and deputies, when there's something bad, they run toward that danger when the rest of us take cover. They each say yes. Yes to protect, yes to serve. Because the people of this community are counting on Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department to keep folks safe, and we do live in complicated times. I want to thank every officer in this room, even those from Charlotte and from Raleigh, for the sacrifices that they made to keep people safe. We in Raleigh are advocating for you. We need to raise law enforcement salaries. We need to offer hiring bonuses so that we can recruit and retain more well-trained police officers across the state. Because that's what we want. We want more of these public-spirited, well-trained officers on the beat in our communities, keeping folks safe. And I want to commend the mayor, the manager, and the police chief for announcing yesterday Operation Safe Season, which is going to be a surge of law enforcement across the city, including from a number of state agencies. Because folks need to be safe, they need to feel safe. We also need to create more violence prevention initiatives to keep kids out of gangs and to help people overcome their addictions. Charlotte knows this too well. We need to have a well-functioning crisis mental health care system that gets people treatment before they pose a danger to themselves and others. I look forward to working with Chief Patterson to make progress in these areas that will enhance our community safety and improve the working conditions of the officers of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Chief Patterson, at the end of the day, your work, my work, our work, it's the same. It's about keeping people safe in their communities, and we're going to keep at this work because it never ends. It's challenging work, it's hard work, but it is such important work, and it's incredibly rewarding work. It takes a special person to make a career out of public safety. So I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone in this room who have made that decision. Somebody who wants to serve others. I love that you said that you knew that you wanted to go into this line of work because you cared about serving other people. Fundamentally, that's what the police do. They serve us. They protect us. So I want all of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police to know that I am in your corner. I am counting. I'm doing everything I can to help you to succeed because your success is all of our success. It's the people of Charlotte's success.
Here at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Earlier recorded comments from North Carolina Governor Josh Stein at the swearing in of CMPD Chief Estella Patterson. As we talk about this wintry, cold weather, it's dreary, it's cold. People are cranking up the heat, wondering how to best optimize their utility bills because energy is costing a premium these days, it seems. So our Megan Bragg is looking into this, verifying what is the best time. You know, we talk about this for the summer months, right? That temperature when you leave the house, leave it at such and such temperature to not spend as much money as you could, but still stay cool. And now, inversely, we're talking about how you can do this during the winter.
Yeah, exactly. And there's an interesting study out there that shows that people in North Carolina spend between 13 to 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and it's $145 to $250 per month. So it's a pretty penny. I mean, I've gotten my bills, and last month was great because I really didn't turn on my heat or anything. But this month I know.
You're expecting something.
Yeah.
I didn't know our HVAC system, whatever, is down and hasn't been functioning. So I thought, I run cold, my husband runs hot. Yeah. So I just thought he is keeping the house like a refrigerator,
right.
freezing me out. But actually, our HVAC was down. So anyway, I digress.
Okay, yeah. That's really cold. Well, and I was going to ask, what do you usually keep your temperature at in the wintertime?
In the winter, probably, I want to say right now I see it like 60 to 65.
Yeah.
It feels cold.
It feels cold. That's usually what I try to keep it to, 65, 66. But the Department of Energy says that sweet spot is 68 to 70 while you're there, and then turn it down just a few degrees lower. And they also say by doing that, turning it back 7 to 10 degrees for 8 hours will save 10% on your energy bill. So so that's a good thing. 8 hours, that's usually what work is. So when you guys go to work, you can just turn it on down. But it is going to be a little chillier when you get home. Just know that. And there's also other ways that you can help figure out what to do without touching the thermostat. So Duke Energy does tell us that there's ways you can winterize your house, maybe caulking certain windows, checking the windows, weatherizing your home, checking doors. If you have an older home, want to see if there's any cracks or anything like that. So it's good to do a little assessment. Now, if you're a Duke Energy customer, they will come out for free and look at your home and see what you need winterized and give you suggestions. So that's always good. You can also turn your fan clockwise, I believe it is.
Yes, it's clockwise.
Is it clockwise?
Because
to...
yes, to bring the warm air down.
Right.
And so that will also help heating your home. If you do have an electric fireplace, that will use energy.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, I
So
haven't used
when
that.
I spoke with Duke Energy yesterday, they were telling me, it does.
does.
Yeah, it makes a little dent there. So, which stinks. But if you have a regular fireplace, which is so beautiful and lovely, I really want one, then that's, not going to spend money. It's going to warm your home. So, and you want to really look out for electric heaters, electric blankets. Make sure those are off when you are not around, because those can cause fires. And really, in these cold temperatures, you really do want to turn on that heat. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with. So if you want to save as much money as you can turn it all the way down low. But if you want to be warm and snuggly, yeah.
All right, 68 to 70 when you're at home.
Yes.
And then lower it when you leave for a few hours or
Which is
8 hours.
Great.
All right, so I guess I'll save because we were 65, no choice. We were at 65.
I know, you're like, no, I'm surprised you're not lower, because when I didn't turn, oh my gosh, we had a really cold day and I still refused to turn on my heat, and I woke up and it was like 54 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and I was
Wow.
like, never again.
Oh, I think one of these overnight mornings, I did see 61, 62.
Oh, yeah, that's cold.
And I was like, oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah,
It was-
no.
yeah.
It's too cold.
I had many layers and it still wasn't enough.
Yes, absolutely.
In my own house.
Yeah.
I'm
like snow
I'm
in
dressed
your
like
house,
an
yeah.
Eskimo in my own house.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
yeah.
All right. Megan Bragg with our Verify for today. Good information as we try to look for our money savings.
Yep.
At the same time, be comfortable in this cold weather. All right. See you later
Bye.
on WCNC Charlotte. She's co-anchoring with me.
Yay!
Later. That's usually the response people get when they know they're co-anchoring with me.
Absolutely.
All right, see ya. And we will be right back here on WCNC Plus. Time right now is 2:08, and we want to go over to a press conference taking place in Texas. It is the family of a Texas A&M student, Brianna Aguilera, who died last week after falling out of a building 17 floors to her death. The police ruled it a suicide, but her family is calling it a homicide. And now they are raising questions and asking Austin police to look for new findings in here. So let's go ahead to this feed on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
His law firm has partnered with Tony Busby and his team. Mr. Tony Busby's reputation is one of tenacity, results, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Moments of tragedy like this, you need a fearless team that won't back down. And for 50 years, my father, Joe Gomez, has fought for families during crisis and stood beside them. And today, alongside of Mr. Busby and his team, we stand by Brianna Aguilar's family for answers and to seek justice. Now I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Tony Busby.
Thank you. I want to introduce you all to Stephanie Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Manuel Aguilera. Now, I saw on social media some comments about the lawyers that are involved here. One recurring comment was, he gets paid either way. I want to make sure we're clear on something. We don't get paid either way. We're doing this for reasons more than money. This family lost their daughter the day after Thanksgiving, mere weeks before Christmas. Brianna was a girl who had the world at her feet. Her whole life was in front of her. She was a girl with big plans and big dreams. She was an honor student, a former cheerleader, a proud sophomore at my alma mater, Texas A&M. She was a political science major and wanted to be a future lawyer. I just found out from her mother that the last time I spoke to the Pre-Law Society at Texas A&M, Brianna was in the audience. We refuse to believe that this young woman committed suicide. Why? Because she was not suicidal. Contrary to what has been sloppily reported, in many cases by a lot of the people here, she did not engage in self-harm. She had never tried to hurt herself before. So why are these groups of lawyers engaged in this? Because this family wants the truth. They're entitled to the truth. We were asked by these parents who love their daughter to find the truth of what happened to her. They didn't feel like they were getting thorough information from the Austin Police Department. And despite what the detective said yesterday, or maybe implied yesterday, it's kind of hard to figure out what he was saying, this is very much an ongoing investigation. I've been around a long time. Good investigations lead to conclusions. Bad investigations start with a conclusion, and then they try to support the conclusion through the investigation. It's clear to me, based on what this detective and the things that he said to Stephanie, it's clear to me that he had made a decision immediately about what his conclusion was and then went about trying to support it. The Austin Police Department formed a conclusion within hours of this tragedy that this was a suicide without any investigation. This family had a horrible tragedy, and the communication from the Austin Police Department was so bad that the family became concerned enough to engage me and my colleagues at Gamez Law. And they also asked the public for help. With proper communication, this matter would be treated like most investigations, where no information is shared until actually after the investigation is complete. But what did we see yesterday? What we saw yesterday was a hurried, rushed press conference. And I think we all can agree the reason they had a press conference yesterday is because they knew that we were going to have this conference today. They gave the family no notice of the press conference. They sent 2 emails, and then the detective went on camera in front of millions of people and told everybody that this young lady committed suicide. Ironically, the same thing he told Stephanie, the mother, within a few minutes of talking to her, without any investigation. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. The family had dared to ask questions about what was going on and what had been learned by the investigation, was then punished with leaks to millions of people from the Austin Police Department, to the detriment of their daughter and to their daughter's memory. So we were hired to assist this family in finding the truth, and we've been doing that. But everyone knows that investigations are supposed to remain confidential until the investigation is complete. And why is that? That's because you don't want to tamper with potential witnesses or scare off witnesses or create a false narrative or color witnesses' interpretation of the facts. Everything that detective did yesterday, that's exactly what he did. Do you realize that the autopsy has not been completed? Now, I want you to let that soak in for a minute. The autopsy has not been completed. The medical examiner's office told us that it will not be completed for 60 to 90 days, yet you had the so-called lead detective in front of millions of people saying that he had concluded that this was a suicide. Now, how unprofessional is that? The police department asked the medical examiner to do a toxicology report. We don't have the results of that toxicology report, yet this investigator stood in front of all of you and said that he had concluded this was a suicide, even though by law he doesn't have the authority to make that conclusion. Only the medical examiner has that authority. The police department also asked for a rape kit to be done. They admitted to us yesterday in a Zoom call that, well, if they do the rape kit, we don't even know where they're going to send it to. This is what we're dealing with, and that's the reason we're involved. It's like the Keystone Cops over there in Austin. And it's incredibly frustrating to this family. Why would the Austin Police Department hurriedly perform or set up a press conference and leak details of the investigation and suggest to you that there was a suicide note without the medical examiner ever even performing their job? Why would they do that? Now, what he told us, I'll tell you what the investigator told us. He said, oh my goodness gracious, the witnesses are getting death threats. I said, from whom? Why? No answer, because it's foolishness, absolute foolishness. And it's that kind of conduct that caused the family to try to find somebody separate from the Austin Police Department to investigate this. We don't have a toxicology report, we don't have a rape report, we don't have a cause of death, and none of those things, don't put that on top of that, none of those are conclusions that a police detective, a corporal, can make. He doesn't have the statutory authority to determine the cause of death. And I'm surprised that none of you even asked that question. He gave you an opportunity to ask questions. Not one of you said, hey, wait a minute, detective. When did the state of Texas give you the legislative authority to determine cause of death? I thought only either a JP, if there's no medical examiner, or a medical examiner could do that. Is that what the medical examiner has done? He would have said to you, no, actually, the medical examiner hasn't even completed his autopsy. But none of you asked that question. You just bought everything that he said, hook, line, and sinker. And then you published most of the things that I saw on Instagram and the newspaper were cause of death determined. Young lady committed suicide. That's irresponsible. That's irresponsible. You should not do that. You should say, wait a minute, detective. How many times have you been written up and reprimanded? Detective. Wait a minute, when did you have the statutory authority, detective, to determine cause of death? Detective. That's your job. Now it's my job. The public dissemination of information by the Austin Police Department during an investigation, the way it was done yesterday, is unethical, unprofessional, and incredibly damaging to an objective, unbiased investigation. And it's also damaging to the memory of this child. All this family is asking for is a thorough, complete, unbiased, open-minded investigation. That's all they're asking for. That's what any parent would ask for whose child went to college, went to a game, lost her for several hours, and then found out hours and hours later that she supposedly jumped off a balcony and with just a few questions, a few pointed questions, quickly figure out that these investigators, this so-called investigator, did not know what he was talking about. We're going to get into that. You can't close a case before you even have the cause of death from the medical examiner. Period. Full stop. You don't have that right. You don't have that authority. We have to get this right. This is not just for this family. This is for any family. You have to get this right. You can't close a book in the middle of reading a chapter and say that that's closed and it's over. That's not how it works. You can't misclassify a death like this. When you misclassify a death, you're planting a lie in the soil where truth should grow. And as I said, to her credit, Stephanie Rodriguez was very close to her daughter, very close. Talked to her daily. Knew everything that she was up to, everything that she was doing. The very first interaction she had with the detective from the Austin Police Department, he told her, your daughter committed suicide. The very first reaction, the very first interaction. At that point, he hadn't talked to one witness, he hadn't seen her phone, he hadn't done anything. That's sloppy and irresponsible. He claims she made suicidal comments. He told us in the Zoom call she made suicidal comments. You know what he was talking about? The other day, when I was talking to a friend the other day, I said, man, you're going to make me jump off a bridge. That's what he's talking about. Silliness like that. He later claimed she was making those kinds of statements on the day or the night that she died. If that's the case, why did their friends leave her out on the balcony by herself? If that's true, because it's not true. None of the things that we've been told by the Austin Police Department are consistent with the actual facts that we've learned. The detective was talking about suicide before he was ever given her phone. Then he gets into her phone and he sees an essay that she wrote and he calls it a suicide note. She took creative writing the semester before. Now, I don't know what the purpose of that. We'll never know what the purpose of what she wrote and deleted. But this is the suggestion was that she left a, quote, suicide note. Total malarkey. Total malarkey. It was something she wrote on the 25th. She talked to her mother on the 25th. She was with her boyfriend on the night of the 25th. She was talking to her mother every single day after that. We see pictures of her smiling. We see pictures of her having fun. We see pictures of her partying. Total baloney, what they're trying to sell to you. And why? Am I suggesting that there's some kind of conspiracy? No, I'm suggesting they're lazy and they're incompetent. Just so I'm clear. I'm not suggesting any sort of conspiracy that there's some kind of somebody in power that wants this to go. No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that there's incompetence and laziness on the part of the detective. That's what I'm suggesting. The suggestion they've made is she wrote an essay, because it's not a note. She wrote an essay on the 25th that she deleted, and then she goes and kills herself 4 days later. This is their logic. It's really ridiculous. So, a few things they didn't bother to even explain. I don't even know what they did, honestly. I know what we've done. We sent someone to the apartment. We had someone take the dimensions of the apartment. We had somebody measure the railing and the height of the railing. We know how tall Brianna was. She was 5'2". The railing's 44 inches. You don't fall over it. There's no furniture out in the balcony. There's nothing to climb up on, to jump off. Anyone that's on that little balcony, it's literally as big as this. It's a little bitty old balcony. And there's a window just like that you can see onto the balcony. The apartment is like a dorm. It's very small. There's no way you can be in that apartment and hide. If you're in the apartment, people know you're in the apartment. It's a little small apartment. No offense to the apartment complex, but that's what it is. It's like a little double-room dorm with a small balcony with no furniture. These are easy things to find out. Things that you would say, wait a minute, you're saying that this young lady was out on the balcony and she was 5'2", she had to somehow climb over the railing to try to kill herself? Then certainly you guys could see that. Certainly you knew that was happening. How could that possibly be? It doesn't make any sense because it didn't happen that way. She was 100 pounds, 5'2". There's no way she could fall over that railing accidentally. There's no way to be on the balcony and you be inside and not know somebody's on the balcony. It's not possible. It's almost impossible to be inside the apartment and not know somebody's in the apartment with you, even though there's 2 little bedrooms. This is called common sense. I tell you what's most concerning. They didn't explore the fight that Breonna apparently had with somebody at the tailgate at the Austin Rugby Club. I think she went to, what was the name of the tailgate that they had there? Some student organization.
Latin Economic Business Development.
Latin Economic Business Development tailgate at the Austin Rugby Club. There was an altercation between her and another female. No investigation of that. Turns out that other female was in the apartment with her that night. There was a witness between 12:30 and 1 a.m. who posted on TikTok. Many of you have seen it. Young man posted on TikTok that he could hear up above at around the 17th floor in that general area fighting, screaming. Somebody saying, "Get off of me!" And then a muffled sound. He posted it, got many, many views. You can get on TikTok and look at it now. We talked to him this morning. And guess what? Here's the irony. Or maybe here's the tragedy. The police didn't bother to talk to him. Now, why wouldn't they talk to him? He had incredibly specific information about what he heard. He could hear it loud enough. He could hear the words that were spoken. "Get off of me," and screaming. And then a muffled cry between 12:30 and 1 p.m. right next to the apartment. We had an expert say, wait a minute, could he hear that? We had to engage an expert to say, is it possible that he could actually hear that? The expert said, absolutely. Absolutely could hear that. It makes a lot of sense. Never talked to by the police. We have a witness who was in the apartment across from the apartment where this apparently occurred, who could hear running back and forth and screaming. And then she said, I could tell something bad had happened. Did y'all know this? Ridiculous. Her entire family was in the apartment. The police could have talked to her and several other people. They failed to look into the anonymous message that was sent. There was an anonymous message that was posted that said, hey, I have specific information that this young lady was locked out on the balcony. Did you know that? It's not part of the investigation. Why is it not part of the investigation? Because they made their decision literally within minutes. Within minutes. Now here's where it gets a little dicey, and here's where I'm having it, and I want to be very careful because I don't want to be accusing anybody, because I'm not accusing anybody other than the APD, the Austin Police Department, not doing its job. At first we were told that she jumped from the balcony and the three young women that were in the apartment, and we're talking about, as I said, a tiny little apartment, were asleep and didn't know where she was. That's what we were told first. That they were asleep. They didn't even know she was on the balcony. They didn't know where she was, and that's the reason why they didn't call the police until 12:15 the next day. That's what we were told. That's part of the cops' timeline. Okay? Put up the timeline, Ryan. They said, according to the plot, we haven't talked to them. These are these anonymous women who were in the apartment, 3 of them. one of which was the lessor or the lessee of the apartment who vacated the apartment the very next day and never went back. Did you know that? This is the timeline that the police gave us yesterday. This is the timeline. And if you can't look at that timeline in 1 second, point out the problem of that timeline, then you're not doing your job. We'll get to it. So at first we're told that the 3 women didn't know where she was and they were asleep. That's what we were told. And that they didn't know where she was, and they were looking for her, and they were texting her mom, and it wasn't, and they decided about 12:14 the next day, 6 hours later almost, that they decided at that point they couldn't find her, so they were going to call the police. This is what we were told by the Austin Police Department. Lay aside what was heard happening at about 12:30 to 1 o'clock that night. Lay aside what the witness across the hall said. Lay aside what the man down on the street said. Just disregard all that. This is what the police say. It must be right, according to them, because they did such a thorough investigation. This is what they gave us. Not one of you have asked a question about it. Not one of you. But this is what they said. Her friends called the police at 12:14 the next day because they didn't know where she was. They hadn't seen her. They thought maybe she had went out. That's what they said. Keep that in your mind. When I asked the police that, like, wait a minute, how is that possible? How is that possible? A whole group of 14 or so people came into the apartment that night after they had been out partying. They got there about 11 or so. Everybody left. Right? That's what they say. And it left just 4 girls there, 4 young women. Right? And the 4 young women, 3 of them didn't call the police till 12 o'clock the next day because they didn't know where she was. That's what the police say. Lay aside what the witnesses have said about that, and lay aside the fact that that's a really small apartment. It's hard to get lost in that little small apartment. I want you to look very carefully. The first entry on the timeline. According to the police, let me walk over there. Excuse me. Brianna did not have her phone. She didn't have her phone, so she had to call. To make a call, according to the police, she borrowed her friend's phone, meaning one of the 3 women that was in the apartment. Now look at this very carefully. According to the police, she borrowed her friend's phone and made a call from 12:43, and it lasted 1 minute. At 12:46, 2 minutes later, the police were responding to a 911 call because she was outside on the ground. Now do the math. So you're probably thinking, well, she must have, she hung up her friend's phone and she just jumped. She hung up the phone, she dropped it on the balcony, and she jumped. First question you should have is, where's the phone? What did she do with the phone? I asked the police that 3 different times. 3 times. They sidestepped me every time until this morning. They sidestepped me because they hadn't thought about it, because they rushed to judgment. They finally answered the question this morning. And you know what they said to me this morning? And they said it, and they didn't even realize what they were telling me because they're so sloppy. I made them put it in writing. I have it here. I'll read it to you. Austin Police Department did not find the phone on Miss Aguilera. Miss Aguilera returned the phone to its owner before she was seen going onto the balcony. Now, how is that possible? That is 180 degrees different than what you told us previous. That is absolutely contrary to what you told us previous. Previous, you said the 3 women were asleep. You said they didn't know where she went. But then when I asked the one question over and over, and you had to answer it, then all of a sudden we realized If she did, in fact, use her friend's phone, like they claim, if she did, in fact, use it for 1 minute and was found already 2 minutes later by a passerby and the police were already responding to a 911 call, think about that, what the ramifications of that are. That whoever phone she was using was standing right next to her as she went over the balcony, if she went over the balcony. Now you're saying to yourselves, well, shoot, there's got to be a reasonable explanation. We should talk to the witnesses. We should investigate. We should figure this out. That's what we're saying. Now you're getting it. You sat there, and with all due respect, you all, I watched it, you all sat there, and you had this corporal, or whatever he is, lead detective, and
All right, we are going to get back to those comments. Press conference taking place out of Texas, but want to talk about some breaking news right now. We're just getting word here in the WCNC Charlotte newsroom. The Supreme Court is to decide if President Trump can limit the constitutional right to citizenship at birth. The administration is looking to roll back the historical understanding that birthright citizenship extends to almost anyone born in the U.S. And the Supreme Court on Friday agreed to decide if this lawfulness that the president can do this will be, the ruling is expected now by the end of June. So updating you on that. We'll be right back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Quick break. At 2:37 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, we continue with a press conference out of Texas. The family of a young co-ed at Texas A&M died last weekend at the Texas A&M game, and they are now suing police, or actually asking that Austin Police Department, saying that they did not investigate her death lawfully. Let's go back to it here on Live Impact News.
Why hold a hasty press conference to announce that this young lady had killed herself without even talking to her mother to see what her affect was leading up to the 28th? You heard what she said. She knows her daughter. She knows her daughter more than anyone. Why not talk to the friends immediately? Why wait? Why wait to talk to her friend group? Why not talk to them immediately? Why did you let the owner of the apartment, that is the young woman who was leasing the apartment, vacate the apartment. Literally vacate the apartment and leave town. Why won't the boyfriend talk to us? The boyfriend that was a longtime boyfriend of this young lady and was very friendly with her mother. Why can't we see the texts? Why can't we see the phones? Where is her wallet? Where is Brianna's wallet? It's missing. They didn't tell you that, did they? I see you writing. They didn't tell you that, did you? If you had asked the question, they would have told you that. They told you what they wanted you to hear. They didn't tell you the complete facts. Her wallet is missing. Why did her friends wait until 12:14 the next day to report her missing? If she had barred the phone and returned it the night of, 2 minutes before she jumped her death. Why didn't they examine the balcony? Why didn't they examine the railing? Why didn't they see if there was some sort of table there, a chair there that somebody who's 5'2" would have to step on to get over the railing? Why didn't they look for scuff marks? Why didn't they do anything? They didn't even bother to look to whether if somebody did in fact jump off the balcony, whether they would end up in the tree that's 30 some odd foot forward of the apartment. Y'all didn't ask that question either. The laws of physics aren't different in the city of Austin, you realize. The same laws of physics as exist here in Houston. If, when the phone call came in at 12:46 and the officers responded to the 911 call, if it was so obvious that this young woman had fallen to her death, why was it till 6 o'clock, 5 hours later, that they ever went into the apartment complex? If it was so obvious that that's how she had died. These are the questions you should be asking. At the press conference, you didn't ask any questions. You didn't ask any questions. You just lapped it up like it was cool water and you were very thirsty. Very disappointing to me. So, we have given you a lot of information. We're going to submit a packet. I'm going to call on the governor to... I don't expect, based on the conduct I saw from the police chief of Austin, her defensive manner that she approached the podium yesterday, I don't expect any relief from her. I don't expect she's going to say, King's X, oh, you're right, this was sloppy, it was not thorough, it was kind of embarrassing, we're going to get a different detective to start over. I don't expect that to happen. I expect what's going to happen is I'm going to send a formal letter to the governor asking for the Texas Rangers to be engaged. And I'm going to submit a detailed packet to the governor's office and ultimately to the Texas Rangers to actually do an investigation to figure out what actually happened, because we still don't know. Notice I haven't suggested to you what happened, because I don't know. I'm starting to get a sneaking suspicion. So I've given you a lot of information. So what is your headline? Your headline is this: there are serious and disturbing questions raised with regard to the Austin Police Department's handling of the investigation surrounding the death of Brianna Aguilera. The Texas Rangers have now been called to intervene. Thank you very much. Let's go.
How long are you willing to give APD to reassign an investigator?
That takes 2 minutes. That's what I expect. Let's go. Y'all move your camera, please. Thank you all.
All right, certainly a case that we will follow here as we get more information on Live Impact News. Right now, we're going to take a quick break on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. At 2:45 here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus, we take you from Texas now to a press conference taking place in New Orleans. Immigration operations taking place there, and the mayor-elect holding a press conference this
expressing our
afternoon
deep
with other
concern
officials and advocates
over recent
demanding
actions by
immediate
Border Patrol
changes
in our
to
city
some of
and in our
the
region.
federal agents'
While we, of
tactics
course,
and
firmly
methods. Let's listen
believe
in on Live
that
Impact
the
News on
most
WCNC
dangerous
Plus.
and violent offenders must be taken off of our streets. Unfortunately, it does not appear that these are the people being targeted in Operation Catahoula Crunch. This operation is actually causing harm for the city of New Orleans, and it's causing harm for people beyond those who are being targeted. We have businesses that are closing. We have workers afraid to show up. And ultimately, there is an economic impact, a negative economic impact that is spreading across our city and also across our region. We, of course, recognize federal law and federal enforcement authority. But we also stand here with an obligation to ensure that federal operations are conducted transparently, constitutionally, and with respect for local residents. Our priorities are, of course, public safety, protection of people's rights, and maintaining trust between government and the community. So today we want to bring to you demands of the Border Patrol. And these are demands that the City Council has actually just sent over to Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino, that I've been watching y'all's media reports, and he appears to be in our city and in our region. There are 5 points to these demands. The first starts with reporting requirements to ensure public trust. We are requesting regular public briefings from federal agencies that include data on the stops, detentions, warrants, and outcomes, information on civil rights compliance and oversight mechanisms. We are specifically asking for clear information on the number of individuals detained within city limits, the legal basis for each detention, including warrants or charges, whether anyone without a warrant has been taken into custody, and if any of the people detained have violent criminal histories. Without this full visibility into these enforcement actions, it is impossible to determine whether this particular operation is actually targeting the most dangerous offenders. We've constantly heard on the news claims that this operation is about going after rapists, pedophiles, and murderers, but is it really casting a much wider net? The second piece that we want to talk about in our second demand is due process protections. Every person, regardless of immigration status or background, actually has constitutional protections. So we expect prompt access to legal representation, clear notification of rights during encounters with federal agents, no detentions without properly issued warrants or clear probable cause. The third piece, and this is a really key and critical piece, we insist that all federal agencies comply with the request of our NOPD chief, Ann Kirkpatrick, that they are clearly identified as law enforcement and that they are not wearing masks that obscure their identity. This is really important because this level of clarity protects not only the community, but also law enforcement agencies as well. Our fourth request has to do with safeguards against discriminatory enforcements. These are really safeguards against any type of profiling. The city expects firm assurances that no stops or detentions are based on race, ethnicity, national origin, language, or perceived immigration status. We are requesting demographic data to monitor and prevent unequal treatment. And finally, the fifth point and fifth demand are humanitarian considerations. We need assurances that any individual detained has access to medical care, necessary medications, language interpretation, and notification of family members. Federal operations must uphold the basic and humane treatment that all should be allowed in this country. Overall, our points are just very simple. They're simple. They're centered around communication, transparency, accountability, and upholding people's constitutional rights. I don't believe that we're asking for too much here. We have a series of different speakers today. I'll give you a little bit of the run of show. We'll go first with our Congressman Troy Carter. Then after that, it'll be City Council President J.P. Morrell speaking on behalf of the New Orleans City Council, followed by our former Mayor Mark Morial, also head of the National Urban League, Omero Lopez with Immigration Services and Legal Advocacy, Myra Pineda with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Sarah Whittington with the ACLU, and then Pastor Sean Ingram, who is representing a group of faith leaders here in our city of New Orleans. So, Congressman Carter, we'll start it with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor-elect. And thank you all for being here. I stand proudly and in unity with our Mayor-elect, our City Council members, our local and national leaders to address this grave concern. The concern surrounding recent federal activity in our community. Thank you all for being here. This show of unity says it all. New Orleans is a city with a soul. Our culture, our neighborhoods, our traditions, and a deep sense of community shape how we live and how we keep each other safe. Any law enforcement activity in our city, including federal operations, must honor that reality. It must reflect an understanding of our local laws, our norms, our people. I've been in communication with Homeland Security for further clarity. To date, we receive no information. We must make sure that if you're going to come into the city of New Orleans, the state of Louisiana, any of our municipalities, there has to be a concerted effort. There has to be a basic degree of respect for our local laws, for de-escalation, for the understanding of our municipal laws, our cultures, and our people, to coordinate. If you really want to help, Mr. President, there are ways you can do it. You can provide resources for more police officers, better training for police officers, training in the areas of de-escalation, working with the root cause and causes of crime. If you truly want to go after the bad guys, if you will, there's ways to do that. As a member of United States Homeland Security, I'll be requesting a full field hearing to be held here in New Orleans so we can directly address and assess these pressing issues in the light of day and in the presence of the people most affected. Let me be abundantly clear. We support strong action against violence and dangerous individuals. Public safety is a shared responsibility, and our city has worked hard to reduce crime through prevention, collaboration, and trust. We cannot support operations that create fear, confusion, or disruption for families, workers, or small businesses. Effective enforcement does not require heavy-handed tactics. It requires communication, de-escalation, transparency, and respect for the community being served. We want federal partners. We just don't want occupation. We want to have them work with us, not around us. We want accountability, we want clarity, and we want enforcement efforts that strengthen public trust instead of shaking it to its core. And in summary, I want to reiterate, we embrace help from the federal government. We embrace help from anyone who wants to make our city better, safer, stronger. But you must recognize that we have a government in place. We have elected leaders. We have a city charter that dictates the power structure and how things are coordinated. We simply ask that that's respected. We simply ask that we have enforcement and not fear, focused on lawful enforcement. Our people deserve safety, dignity, and transparency. I will continue to stand with our mayor-elect, our city council, our community leaders, our national leaders to get our city and our state nothing less. Thank you for being here.
So I'm wearing a mask because I have a cold. In fact, the only 2 times it's appropriate to wear a mask in the city of New Orleans is when you're sick and when it's Mardi Gras. So I don't think anyone's told ICE that. So let's talk about reality. We've heard a lot of stories from the federal government as to why they're here. We've heard that they are here to detain 5,000 illegal immigrants who are criminals, who are a danger to our streets. I will tell you that as someone who has studied law enforcement for a very long time, you should never trust a quota. And when groups come in and say we're looking to arrest 5,000 people, that tells you they're looking to arrest 5,000 people. And the lack of transparency that we have gotten from those parties operating here in their jurisdiction, but without the support and help of our local people, the lack of information on who they're arresting and why has been very, very troubling. Now, this is nothing new for New Orleans. I mean, if you look back to the history of the city, from Napoleon to Jefferson to Jackson to now Trump, you've always had people at the national and state level trying to impose their will on the city. And what you're seeing right now is just that, an effort for political reasons for people outside of the city to impose their values and their judgments of what they think New Orleans should be upon the city. We are a city of immigrants, more so than almost any city in the United States. We are a port city that has welcomed groups from everywhere across this world, and our culture is greater for it. Everything about New Orleans, everything you love about this city is because of our rich, diverse melting pot. And that will not change. We will always be the city that welcomes everyone. And that's really encapsulated in the sign you may see in many restaurants where it says, "Be nice or leave." And we would certainly encourage ICE to follow that really basic tenet. Part of being nice or leaving in New Orleans is staying out of our schools, our recreation centers, our libraries, and off our city buses. Staying out of our civic and religious spaces, our food banks, our shelters, and respect the sanctity of our temples of worship. Respect our cultural spaces, our practices, including second lines, funeral processions, our black masking Indians, and our various festivals. These are not places for you to go into to inspire terror in regards to a mission that is very, very unclear. Now, as I've said it, we have heard that there is a reason for them being here, and we have not seen actions or information that bellies that reason is legitimate. As the council vice president and mayor-elect has said, this is your opportunity to be transparent, to give us the information that you say led you to this city, to give us the list of people that are these criminal elements that you're seeking to ferret out, and to be transparent about why you're detaining or harassing people. I can tell you, like many of you, I saw the video yesterday of a young mother in Marrero fleeing ICE only to be safe on her own property. It was obvious in the wake of that, this was not someone that was an illegal immigrant. This is not somebody who was a criminal. This was a mom at the grocery store. That is what we are seeing, and that does not match the reasons and rationale as to why ICE is allegedly here. I do not believe you are here for the reason you say you're here, but you have an opportunity to prove me wrong. Provide the information that's being requested by this New Orleans City Council, by our mayor-elect, and prove that there's actual actionable information that has led to you thinking that there are 5,000 violent criminals lurking in the greater New Orleans area. The lack of providing that information, the lack of transparency, shows that's not really the reason why you're here. Until then, this council will continue to use all the resources available to us, legal and otherwise, to make sure that the citizens of the city are protected. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, good afternoon. I'm Mark Morial. I used to work here. And I want to thank Mayor-elect Moreno for her leadership, the members of the City Council, and the other community leaders in this moment for standing together. I come today as president of the National Urban League, the nation's largest historic civil rights and urban advocacy organization. We operate in 300 communities, 36 states, 93 affiliates. We serve almost 10 million people a year. we have been monitoring very closely the actions of ICE and the National Guard in cities all across the nation. And there are a few points that I want to make. Number one, this policy that's been undertaken by the administration is an absolute and abject failure. It's a failure for a number of reasons. Number one, it's inconsistent with what the administration said they were going to do. What they said is, we will focus and target on undocumented individuals that have criminal records or outstanding warrants. What we know from Los Angeles all the way here is that those words are being betrayed by the actions of ICE. That this sweep is catching, number one, people who are undocumented, for whom there is no outstanding warrant, nor are they wanted for a crime. Let me remind everyone that immigration violations are civil violations. Civil violations under U.S. law. They are sweeping into communities where naturalized citizens, those that have work visas, green cards, have every right to be in the country, are being swept in to this net. Consider this. There's 66,000 people currently in immigration detention across the nation today. Less than 50% of them have outstanding warrants or criminal histories. The other 50% do not meet the standard that the administration set for itself. Number two, it is abhorrent to me, absolutely abhorrent, that law enforcement would feel they need to wear masks. I grew up in this city. I was born in a segregated hospital when segregation was the law of this city. Masks remind me, and I want to be clear, remind me of the tactics of the Ku Klux Klan. Let me be clear, I do not suggest that the ICE are the Ku Klux Klan. But in this country, there is zero precedent for sworn law enforcement officers to mask themselves to carry out public enforcement actions. Number two, I would encourage them, if they're insisting on wearing masks, they can ride in Rex, Zulu, and Endymion. We know masking in New Orleans. It's abhorrent that they're wearing masks. Further, the demands being made by the mayor-elect today are reasonable. They are consistent with the obligations that these leaders have to protect the public and to protect the citizens. And their actions are in no way, quote unquote, interfering with the actions of ICE. Additionally, we must be concerned because over the last 48 to 72 hours, I've received a number of calls from business owners, hotel general managers, and the like, of the impact, negative, that these actions will have on the New Orleans economy. Grocery stores close, hotel employees and restaurant employees not coming to work, therefore forcing, in one case, a hotel general manager said to me, I may have to cancel reservations for the Sugar Bowl upcoming because I simply don't have enough personnel. The final thing I'll say, there's a better way to do this. This policy is failed. The immigration system is absolutely broken. But that this administration has not advanced nor supported in the past any proposal, partisan or bipartisan, from a legislative point of view, to fix a broken system. This policy makes no sense, and it also is not sustainable over time. So the civil rights community is monitoring these activities all across the nation, and we will continue to speak out. And no one here is going to be intimidated by rhetoric, whether it comes from Baton Rouge, Washington, or anywhere, in terms of standing up for the dignity of human beings in this city. These are mothers, these are families, these are children, these are people who work, these are people who are contributing in many instances to this community. And now all of a sudden, many of them will find themselves detained. And guess what? That means the taxpayers of the United States will be paying to room, to board, to clothe, and take care of them. Think about that policy. So we stand together today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll keep my remarks short and sweet, much like me. My name is Homero Lopez. I am the legal director for Immigration Services and Legal Advocacy. We are a pro bono immigration services provider. We represent people throughout detention in Louisiana, and we've been doing it for approximately 7 years now, going on 8. This operation is a complete disgrace. What we are hearing from our community members, what we are hearing from our clients is exactly what we've seen happen in other cities. Folks are being arrested indiscriminately, targeted for the color of their skin, the language they speak, the location where they're working. This is a sorry pretext of using public safety as the pretext for why they're doing this operation. If anything, it is making our community more afraid and less safe. In a situation where folks aren't able to send or feel scared to send their kids to school, where folks feel afraid to go to work, where folks in any situation are hunkering down instead of doing the things that they were doing in our society. They are targeting members of the immigrant community across the board. They're targeting U.S. citizens. They're targeting permit holders. They're targeting people who are going through the process across the board. As the council president said, they're not in any way targeting a specific group of people. They have a quota, and they're going after an entire, that 5,000 is what they want. That's who they're going after. That's what they're going to do. They're going to get their 5,000. It doesn't matter whether they fit what kind of category, except, basically being brown, speaking Spanish, and working in particular areas of the economy. And so as a community, we remind everybody, you have rights, speak up, exercise your rights, and although, unfortunately, people's rights have been violated, continue to speak up your rights, exercise your rights, and the community will come out, at least the legal community, we're working together to be able to protect people after your rights have been violated. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Myra Pineda. I'm the president and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Louisiana, a nonprofit, a statewide nonprofit. We definitely thank Mayor-elect and the council for allowing us to be here and supporting the requests that we have. We are in full alignment with these requests. We feel and have been sharing through our messages the impact, the economic impact, the mental health impact that these policies are having throughout the community. When you see businesses and business owners having to close down, when children can't go to school or to church and they can't conduct their normal lives, I think everybody has seen there's no traffic. Why? You go to the mall, nobody's there. So the economic impact is going to be grave, the mental health as well. We need to request and demand respect for our community. We need to, the Chamber of Commerce, our mission is to foster a favorable business environment for business owners. So instead of doing what we do best, helping business owners with resources and tools to grow, we're now trying to help them with grants and ways to survive, because they won't be able to. Some of them are still recovering from COVID. So as a community, we need to continue to be proud of our roots, continue to fight for our rights, and educate our people to make sure that we are following due process, that we are making sure that a conversation begins around reform, the immigration reform, which is long overdue, and the humanitarian treatment of our people. The Chamber of Commerce has put out a resource page with tools for business owners, for individuals. It's working with many and collaborating with many other organizations, but stands in alignment with this, with the mayor-elect and the city council, in making sure that during this process, our people and the soul of New Orleans is respected. So thank you very much again, and we'll continue to work with you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Whittington. I'm the Advocacy Director for the ACLU of Louisiana and a member of the Free the Swamp campaign standing in opposition to the militarization and federalization of New Orleans. We at the ACLU stand before you to share many of the emotions that our communities are currently feeling: shock, disgust, fear, and rage. In just a few days, it has become clear that Border Patrol and ICE have zero accountability. Citizens have already been profiled because of the color of their skin, chased, hunted, and workers have even stared down the barrels of rifles just trying to do their jobs. This chaos and lack of professionalism and alarming disregard for civil rights exhibited by these federal agents should shock not just Louisianans, but the country at large. But we will not stop working to fight back against these atrocities and trying to keep our communities safe. This week, we sued Attorney General Murrell over Act 399 on behalf of ISLA and the absurdly vague law that attempted to criminalize anything deemed as interference with federal immigration efforts. Immediately upon our filing, the AG conceded in writing that Act 399 will not and cannot be used against speech and protected First Amendment actions. It is a dark time that we have to seek clarification about whether the First Amendment still stands. But this week, in our courts and from the AG herself, we confirmed it still does. And it is a reminder that when we fight authoritarian overreach, we win. We are here to demand not just transparency from these federal agents, but to tell them that if they are going to make our city less safe, they are not welcome here. New Orleans has seen historic low crime rates over the past year because of local investments in prevention strategies led by many on the council here today. Thank you. And for any federal officers here in our beloved city, we want to make this clear. The people of New Orleans will stand together, and we will keep each other and our city safe. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor-elect, for gathering us. It's an important day. I'm Pastor Sean of First Grace, a United Methodist Church on Canal and Norman C. Francis. And I think, as we've heard in our remarks, everything that I have seen happening is unconstitutional, it's un-American, and it's unacceptable. More importantly, it violates our common humanity, which every religion teaches and any decent person knows of. So much of the root of evil is valuing another people over other people. And right now, if you're not white, and especially if you're not a white man, you are suspect in this city. Members of my church and of other communities, churches, people are not going out, not because they're immigrants, but because of the color of their skin. This policy is a violation of our life together and the violation of the spirit of New Orleans. All over our city, the hope I see is days like today and hundreds of New Orleanians who are gathering all over our city to understand how they can help their neighbors, their immigrant neighbors. How can I help? The more we confront this, the more we'll bring it to an end, because the people perpetrating this cannot stop themselves. We have to help them be better people and better Americans. So I want to thank the City of New Orleans and all the groups who are joining together, and again, our Mayor-elect for bringing us together to put an end to what is happening in our beloved city that celebrates life together. Thank you.
Thank you to all the speakers. Just a point that I wanted to make based on some of the comments. And that is the level of crime reduction that we're currently seeing right here in the city of New Orleans. We are seeing significant violent crime reduction. In fact, I had the stats checked just before I came in, and we are on pace right now to have the fewest murders since 1970. That's where we're at right now. Now, obviously, we do know that there's more work to do, and we absolutely would like fruitful federal investments and resources. And in the letter that we sent to Commander Bovino to
Welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sertivant here during the 3 o'clock hour. So that was a press conference from New Orleans officials there talking about the Border Patrol operations. If you remember, living here in the Charlotte area, we had Border Patrol operations over the last couple of weeks, a few weeks, I should say. So they held that press conference earlier. But we want to take you to something that's happening live. Former President Joe Biden just hit the stage. President Biden is at the Victory Institute. He is receiving an award and delivering remarks at the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute's conference. Let's take a listen in.
That all occurred. Folks, I also want to recognize so many friends that are here today. Where's Mo Vella? Mo, where are you? There you go, Mo. You know, we're doing this for a long time, Mo and I. And I've relied on his advice throughout my career, particularly when I was vice president. I knew which direction to go.
And I love you just as much as them, sir.
Thank you. Next week marks 3 years. 3 years since many of us stood on a crisp day in the South Lawn of the White House, where I signed the Respect for Marriage Act. Folks, as the ceremony came to an end, the sun began to set. Rainbow lights lit up the portico of the White House. You know, the moment had an air of celebration, but also, quite frankly, for me and many of you, I expect, an air of relief. Relief. Finally, through the hard work, faith, counsel, sheer grit of folks like you in this room and so many who came before you, the momentous battle was finally won. Finally. And look, today, though, we know there's much more work to do. And the challenges ahead can feel daunting, particularly in the face of everything we're seeing coming out of this reactionary White House. You know, we're all here today for the same reason. Same reason. It's all because we believe in the power of our democracy to pull the nation together. You know, our worst moments, actually, we're the only country in the world that's gone through every crisis and come out stronger than we went into the crisis. Every time. America's the only country also is founded on an idea. We're unique, not a joke. It's not just, you know, Mayor, it's true. We're the only country founded on idea. Every other country in the world is founded on geographic boundaries, religion, ethnicity. But we're an idea. A strong idea. It's stronger and more powerful than any dictator or any army. And that in America, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. All deserve to be treated with dignity and throughout their lives. And all of us, each and every one of us, deserves that. That's how I was raised. That's how many of you were raised, I guess, too. We've never lived up to that idea, though, but we've never walked away from it. We've never walked away from it either. And so you've heard me say before, that when I was growing up, whenever something bad happened, I used to be a stutterer and people made a lot of fun of you, a lot of other things. My dad would look at me and say, Joey, just get up. Get up, Joey. Get up. Well, folks, that's my message to all of us today. To all who love our country. To all of us who are dismayed by the present state of the Union. This is no time to give up. It's time to get up. Get up and fight back. Get up. Continue to fight. And what's the fight all about? It's not high praise. It's about protecting the Constitution. It's about protecting the Constitution. Some of you are old enough to remember back in 2012, I went on Meet the Press. Got myself in a bit of trouble. But good trouble. You know, I just couldn't remain silent anymore. We had this whole plan to let things, anyway. I told the truth. I expressed my support for gay marriage a little earlier than some folks had been expecting it. Well, that comment got all the attention. I also told another story during that interview. I've been speaking a few weeks earlier, and there was a group of LGBTQ leaders in a private home. And during the Q&A period, and I was in that home, a gentleman stood up and said, "Mr. Vice President, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about us?" That's the way he said it. I turned to the gay couple who owned the house. I looked at both of them. I said, "What did I do first when I walked in the door of your home?" And they both said, "You walked right up to our 2 children." And I turned to the person asking the question. I said to those children, "I wish every American, I mean this is from the bottom of my heart, I wish every American could have seen the love in the eyes of these 2 young boys for their dads. It was palpable. You could feel it. Because if they did see that, they'd never have any doubt about what this is all about." Folks, a lot has gotten lost in all the noise with terms like DEI and being weaponized and people's basic identity turned into political football. Right now, in no small part because of the vitriol of this in our national debate, there are young people sitting alone at home as I speak, literally, behind closed doors, scrolling through social media, staring at the ceiling, literally wondering whether they've talked, you are, and I've talked to many of these young men and women, wondering whether we'll ever be loved, will they ever marry, will they ever have a family, ever truly be accepted for who they are. So my message to young people is this: just be you. Be who you are. You are loved. You're heard, and you increasingly understand you belong. You belong, you belong, you belong. I mean it. Things are changing. Folks, Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans are trying to distort and derail our fight for equality. They're trying to turn it into something scary, something sinister. But folks, it's really not about anything that's all that complicated. At its core, it's about making every American, giving them an opportunity to be treated with basic decency, dignity, and respect they all deserve. That's what every single American deserves, every American. This administration is trying to use those issues as a wedge to further divide the country. But there's nothing more American than the notion of equality. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And folks, it's a struggle as old as the country's founding. That's why many of us are in this room today. We also know that the fight ahead is about more than equality. It's about opportunity. It's about opportunity. It's about making sure every American has a chance to make a decent living. It's about having equal access to quality health care, make it affordable. It's about, they can You know, they can pay any rent, send their kids to college, pay for the grocery bills. It's about making sure every American can come home at the end of the day, look their kid in the eye, and say, honey, it's going to be okay. It's that basic. It is that basic. You've heard me say before, my dad used to say, it's all about can you look your child in the eye and say it's going to be okay. That's what we worked so damn hard to do during my administration. In those 4 years, we created 16 million new jobs. Unemployment dropped to a 50-year low. We lowered the price of everything from health care to cost of college to junk fees and airline tickets and credit cards. We made a lot of progress. We had so much more we had to do to make life affordable for every American. And it's this work that's motivated so many of you to step up, put your name on the ballot, and run for office. LGBT candidates across the country running not only to ensure equality for every American, but also to ensure that every American has access to opportunities they deserve. I want to thank those of you who are willing to put yourself on the line, willing to subject yourself and your families to the public scrutiny and the attacks that sure will come your way in order to make life better for every American. It's going to take character. It's going to take courage. So please join me today in thanking all the candidates elected to office here today, and please stand up, candidates. Stand up. Thank you. Think of what you've done. I know I look like I'm only 40 years old. I know that. I've been doing this job for 51 years. If I made that same comment in this room, and I've spoken in this room that many years ago, made that same comment in this room 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I'd been thrown out of here. Not a joke. Well, when I took office, I promised to have an administration that looked like America. I've kept my promise. And not just for the community, but my press secretary, Kareem. My head personnel, Goodman, is here. I don't know if he's here or not. There you are, man. Stand up. Oh, I see Kareem. There you are. Along with many others who served in my administration. You all worked on issues that went far beyond equality for the LGBTQ community. With your help, we accomplished much, not just in this community, but all across to create opportunity for everybody. My dad, really, all kidding aside, my dad was a really decent, honorable man, a well-read guy. And my dad would say, Joey, everybody deserves a shot, no guarantee, but everybody deserves it. Everybody deserves a shot. So again, please join me in thanking all those who work for my administration and continue to work in government. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me close with this. Sorry I'm taking too long here. I apologize. Folks, America's not a fairy tale. For 250 years, there's been a constant push and pull, an existential struggle between peril and possibility. We're not guaranteed a fairy tale ending, but I believe the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. I know I'm characterized as an eternal optimist, but I am. You know, my friend, Congresswoman Sarah McBride, what a kid. She used to work for my son, Bo, who passed away because of what happened in Iraq. He was Attorney General. She worked for him. And he used to have to protect her go out of his way. Well, she wanted to be here today, but she's giving an important speech at my alma mater, the University of Delaware. You know, Sarah talks about, quote, doing the hard work of persuasion. And in these times, which can be dispiriting and even hurtful, Sarah says, hope. Quoting her, hope is a conscious choice. You have to summon it. You have to summon it. It's not automatic. Friends, we are one of the only countries in the world that time and again has come out of every crisis stronger than we entered into that crisis. I still believe, emerging from the many crises caused by this administration, as we have constantly, nonetheless, come out stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. But we just have to get up. As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, and get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. That's who we are. We're the U.S. And there's nothing, I mean it sincerely, there's nothing beyond our capacity in America when we act together. So let's work together. Let's keep this fight going. Let's win it together. Now, not tomorrow, now. Thank you. God bless you all. And may God protect our troops. Sorry it took so long. I'm so damn proud of all of you. No, I really am. I'm proud of your courage. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Every time I'd walk out of my grandfather Finnegan's house in Scranton, he'd yell, Joey, keep the faith. My grandmother, no, Joey, spread it. Let's spread it. Thank you.
All right, so that is President Joe Biden there at the LGBTQ plus Victory Institute conference. He is receiving an award there and just finished delivering remarks there at that conference. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. All right, weather alert today because we had some wintry mixed conditions here in our area. Why are you shaking your head, Joe? Well, no, I'm saying we were weather alert. This is what happens here on Live Impact News. I see Jeb motion. We were weather alert today. Sharif, I did say we were. We were weather alert today. I'm just giving them a hard time. Let's check with the full forecast.
Good Friday afternoon. Gray skies, chilly temperatures. We take a view from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's the weather picture locally. Gray skies, maybe a little drizzle, mist out there, chilly temperatures. Even in the mountains, they didn't get that winter wonderland. In fact, it was so dry up there, they get barely any snow at all. But you can see the situation up in Blowing Rock. Clouds and fog, a little bit of drizzle up there. The radar indicates some of the heavier precipitation definitely has moved east and southeast of the Charlotte metro area. We may see once again a little bit of a drizzle here. Some of the highest elevations in the mountains may see a mix of some rain and a couple snowflakes and no accumulation. So the winter weather situation really is not locally. Everything once again rainfall-wise off the Carolina coastline towards the Outer Banks all the way down to the Grand Strand around the Charleston area. And that's basically where it's going to be as we head right into the afternoon. As far as rainfall totals, not expecting much at all. Maybe a 1/10 of an inch east and southeast. If your futurecast indicates once again precipitation, and that's all rain east and southeast. Our temperatures stay in the upper 30s and low 40s for the afternoon, so no freezing precipitation. Tomorrow, dry weather, more of the same as we head into Sunday. We'll say that a couple of computer models indicating late Sunday, early Monday, maybe some precipitation. We're going to go with, at the moment, just clouds and some chilly temperatures. For today, we should be in the upper 50s, not much above the low 40s as we head right into the afternoon. This evening, all the way from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Until early tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. temperatures in the upper 30s with mainly cloudy skies out there. For Statesville and Hickory all the way to Morganton, cloudy skies and some chilly temperatures for the most part staying in the upper 30s all the way through this evening. For the Boone Blowing Rock area, it's going to be a situation with clouds out there, maybe a little precipitation in the form of some drizzle, but notice the temperatures stay above the freezing mark even around midnight tonight in the high country, right around 33 degrees at that time. So the cold air is in place, and unfortunately for the folks who are looking for any snow, the only snow in the mountains is up there that's man-made snow where they're getting that at the moment. So if you got travel plans headed maybe up toward the high country, they're skiing up there, but nothing as far as Mother Nature's snow. In fact, we take a view and show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is our camera from up in the North Carolina high country. It's cloudy, it's foggy, and yeah, conditions for skiing, they're okay up there. Thanks a lot, Chris, for showing us that, our director, Chris. Let's go ahead and check that 7-day forecast from Jerry Hunt. Low 40s today, tomorrow. Magical Toy Drive Day. Remember, we'll be there starting at 8:30 tomorrow morning over at Belk, right there at Carolina Place Mall in Pineville. The Magical Toy Drive. Bring a new unwrapped toy for a kid from infancy all the way up to about 12 years old. And we're going to take those and give those to the Salvation Army as part of a Magical Toy Drive. 47 tomorrow. Sunday afternoon, we're 49 degrees. It'll still be kind of cloudy. Some very chilly temperatures Monday and Tuesday of next week. We're back only into the mid-40s for high temperatures. And looking ahead again to the middle of next week, we do see a rebound. We should be in the upper 50s, but notice as we go Wednesday morning down to about 32, high temperature close to 54 degrees. And Thursday, really more of the same. We start the day about 40, and we do see a rebound getting almost close to normal next Thursday as we get to the end of next week. Look for high temperature around 56 degrees. So all in all, it's going to be kind of a chilly weekend with temperatures staying in the 40s both Friday, today, Saturday, and again on Sunday. That is your forecast. I'm Larry Sprinkle. Have a nice day and a great weekend.
That was weatherman Larry Sprinkle there. You can catch Larry at the Magical Toy Drive tomorrow at Carolina Place Mall. I'll be there. That's in Pineville from 8 to 3. I don't have the time. 8 to 3 p.m. All right. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturtevant. All right, so we want to get to this. Former Governor Roy Cooper, who announced his run for Senate, U.S. Senate this week, was in Charlotte today, along with Raphael Warnock out of Georgia, represents the Atlanta area. So Cooper is running for the seat that has been vacated by Senator Thom Tillis after Thom Tillis announced his retirement. So we heard both speak. They were at Archive CLT, which is a black woman-owned coffee shop on Beatties Ford Road, which is in the corridors of opportunity here in Charlotte. Let's take you there now in case you missed it.
I want to thank supporters who have come in today. I want to thank Archive CLT. Thank you very much for spending some time with us today. One of the great things I got to do as governor, I often would go from town to town and visit small businesses in North Carolina, because they really are the backbone of our economy. North Carolina, while I was governor, we voted the best state for business 3 out of the last 4 years, and a lot of that was because of our small businesses and the jobs that they create and the economic activity that they get in place. We also knew that healthcare, we just had a little discussion about healthcare and how premiums have gone up. We knew that not only did healthcare matter to everyday families, but also mattered to our economy. And finally, after a number of years of trying, we were able to get a bipartisan coalition together and pass Medicaid expansion in North Carolina for 690,000 people and counting. And to be able to have health insurance, many of the people work for small businesses who cannot afford health insurance, and Medicaid expansion has helped many of these employees, and it's something that has helped our economy. I came to Charlotte to open up Medicaid expansion and gave the first health insurance card for Medicaid expansion to Penny here in Charlotte, and was able to visit with people, some of whom had never had health insurance in their entire lives. So I'm concerned about the chaos in Washington that Senator Warnock was alluding to, that is going to trample on that success that we've had in North Carolina. You start off with these chaotic, indiscriminate tariffs that are being placed all across the world by this administration. You know who's paying it? This small business across North Carolina and this country, and their employees and the consumers. We were just talking across the street over here about the price of the wedding dresses having to go up because of the tariffs. Your coffee is having to go up because of the tariffs. And one of the things that I want to do is to work with this great senator and others to get back some of that constitutional authority that Congress has in trade and tariffs, so that these things can be negotiated and that they can be depended upon and they can work like they're supposed to without raising the prices. I'm excited about running for the United States Senate. There are too many people who are having too much month at the end of the money right now. They're telling me that rent's too high, the utility bills are too high, health care costs are too high, child care is too high. And this administration promised them to fix these problems on day one. Not only have they not done it, but they've made it worse. This big ugly bill, big beautiful bill, whatever you want to call it, ended up taking health care away from people, ended up costing these very people more. I want to change that in the United States Senate. I want to be an independent senator who can work with the president when I can, stand up to him when I need to, stand up to my own party when I need to. I think the people of North Carolina want a senator who will look after them. And my opponent, Michael Whatley, is going to do whatever this president tells him to do. He has supported these tariffs. He supported the big, beautiful bill. That's hurting the people of North Carolina. I think they're going to want to send an independent senator there. I'm so proud to have these supporters here. I'm so proud of North Carolina's small businesses.
Let's take I-85
And I wanted to introduce to you a friend of mine who is a leader in this country. The first black senator elected in the state of Georgia. He's been the amazing pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church for 20 years. He has been a leader in the United States Senate. He still goes home and preaches on Sunday. I'm very proud to introduce to you all, hopefully someone that I'll get a chance to work with in the United States Senate, United States Senator Raphael Warnock.
Thank you so much, Governor, and I look forward to calling you Governor Senator. Listen, as we approach the holidays, Donald Trump and those who are enabling him in the Congress are literally the Grinch that stole Christmas. We are seeing prices go up and not down. Here we are in this business selling coffee. We don't grow coffee in the United States. And we don't have the conditions for growing coffee. And businesses, you know, require a lot of different things. You gotta get cups, a whole range of things to make this work. And these tariffs are a real strain and a burden on these businesses. And we ought to call tariffs what they are. They are a tax. They are a tax on everyday working people. And so Donald Trump has made a choice. He's decided that it's Elon Musk who needs a tax cut. That it's the billionaires in this country who need a tax cut. And he has literally raised taxes on everybody else. So you know who he's looking out for. He's looking out for the people you saw standing on that stage as he was being inaugurated. His base is literally the billionaires, even as he engages in this kind of populist talk. But here's the thing. For all the pain that we're feeling with these tariffs, you wouldn't know watching that trade and tariffs is in the purview of the Congress and not the executive branch. And the reason you don't know it is because Washington Republicans, my colleagues in the Senate, have literally decided to give their power away to the executive branch. If we had the majority, Congress could fix this right now, no matter what the president wants to do. The founders put this in the hands of the Congress, but they've made a decision, the party that's in the majority, to just hand that over. And so the road to fixing this is a majority that we could gain, and that road goes straight through North Carolina. We saw this big ugly bill did a lot of damage to this country. Literally, we're in this business, but we're seeing now nurses and social workers and LPNs, all of a sudden they're not professionals, so that they can't borrow the money that they need to get through school to lead in the ways that they ought to lead. 15 million people cut off of health care, premiums raised for 22 million, and literally the health care premiums of this small business owner, like a lot of people, almost everybody's gone up. And so that's a drag on small businesses. If we had Roy Cooper in the Senate, he would very well be a part of a majority that could turn this around. And so it's really important that we stand up in a moment like this. They're trying to overwhelm us. Every single day, there's some crazy new announcement, some chaos coming out from this administration. They're trying to flood the zone. And by flooding the zone, what they're really trying to do is weaponize despair, to convince us that they've already won, and therefore there's no need for us to fight because they've won. But North Carolina has shown time and time again that you know how to fight. And so we're counting on North Carolina, and we need you to send this brother to the United States Senate, who's an incredible governor, who expanded Medicaid in this state, who understands the struggle of working people, and who makes his faith come alive in public service. And I'd love to be in the fight alongside him in Washington, D.C., bringing common sense back to Washington.
Thank you, Senator. I really appreciate it.
Time for one question. We'll go to Andy Webb.
Congressman Cooper, you mentioned Mr. Watley, and he has the president's endorsement. The president has won the state a few times. Does that cause you any concern?
I want to restore the opportunity for the American dream for more people. There's so many people who are looking up at the middle class thinking they're never going to get there. There's so many people who are in the middle class who are barely hanging on, and many of them voted for the president, and they're finding out that not only did he not improve their lives, but has made it worse. I think people are ready for a change in Washington. They know that Washington is absolutely broken. I want to go up there and bring my problem-solving skills. I want to try and walk across the aisle and work with anybody I can who's willing to step up and help improve the lives of people who are struggling right now to make ends meet, people who don't have the opportunities that we want to create for them. So I'm excited about it.
All right,
Thank you all. We're going to greet some of these folks in here. Nice to see you all. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, that was former North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, also Representative Raphael Warnock from Georgia. They are visiting and speaking with supporters there at Archive CLT in Charlotte. It's a black woman-owned coffee shop here in Charlotte as Roy Cooper announcing his run for U.S. Senate this week. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturdivant. So earlier today, CMPD swearing in its new chief, Estella Patterson. She came over from Raleigh PD. So she was sworn in earlier today. Governor Josh Stein was there. And we want to take you now because Governor Josh Stein took some questions for the media. Let's take a listen in to some of those questions in that Q&A.
I've been the police chief in Raleigh, and I worked very closely with her for 4 or 5 years in that role, but it's really a homecoming because she's of Charlotte. She started here in the police department back in 1996. This is where she wants to be, and I think it's great for the people of Charlotte, for the people of Mecklenburg County, for the people of North Carolina, that she is now the police chief here of CMPD.
You have seen her lead over in Raleigh. What can this community, she's no stranger of course here, but what can we expect to see in her leadership of a police department in Charlotte?
She identifies issues and then brings a team together to address those problems. And in so doing, one of the big issues we had in Raleigh was we had a lot of vacancies. There were over 300 vacancies. She was able to reduce the number of vacancies in the police department by 75%. So what she did is she identified what the problem was, she brought the right people around the table to develop a strategy, and then she executed. And it was for a good end. More police on the streets keep us safer, and she is going to do just that here in Charlotte.
Are you willing to work with the department to boost pay for Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers?
I have called on the General Assembly to do two things: increase pay of all our state law enforcement officers, and to offer hiring bonuses for local law enforcement agencies to make it more attractive to bring in new people who've come out of basic law enforcement training, or they could have been in a police department in another state. We want to bring talent and fill these positions, because having empty positions makes us all a little bit less safe, because there are fewer cops on the beat, and it also puts a lot more strain and burden on the existing officers because they have to work overtime shifts. We want people operating at maximum effectiveness.
Building off of what you were talking about, identifying the problem of working with team, you said you two worked together on a backlog of untested rape kits. Can you tell us more about how you two came together on that and how that might be something similar could be replicated here in Charlotte?
Well, fortunately, we solved this problem statewide. North Carolina as a state had more untested rape kits than any state in this country. Charlotte had a number of them. Raleigh had a lot of them. So we worked with the Raleigh Police Department, with Chief Patterson, to make sure that those kits got sent off to labs so they could get tested. A certain percentage of them came back with a hit where they identified a perpetrator, somebody who we think committed that crime. Then the Raleigh Police Department would work to arrest those people who committed these sexual assaults, and we can put them behind bars. And when we do that, we're making the community safer, but importantly, we're delivering justice to those victims.
Sir, could you tell us, I know maybe you have already touched on this, could you tell us what type of person we're getting here in Charlotte now?
She's a kind person, and she's a good person, and it emanates from her. When you're around her, you can see she's genuine. She cares about